In the Star Dragon Kingdom, a cataclysm erupted as countless monsters from another world invaded reality, plunging humanity into chaos. But fate favored the brave. A mysterious imprint appeared on the backs of all humans, awakening unique professions through this mark. Humanity entered the era of universal job change. Among the awakened, only 3 reached the mythological level. Ghost Swordmaster Elpha from the Lighthouse Country, Hell Dragon Knight, plus Resta from Russia, and Forest Mage King plus Quanzi Qian from the Cold Country. These mythical professionals gave their nations a dominant lead in the conquest of otherworldly realms. A century ago, the Dragon Country too gave birth to a peerless genius. Known as Asura, he shattered all records, becoming the first to connect with the 70th world within just 10 years. But during the catastrophic invasion of the 9th level Beasttide, Asura, still an 8th Transcendent, stood alone to defend the rift. His sacrifice protected the nation, earning him legendary status. This year marked the centennial of Asura's ascent. At a grand memorial in Dragon City, the kingdom's top professionals gathered. According to this year's statistics, 12.35 million individuals have awakened, an 11.3% rise from last year, the highest in 110 years. Of these, 10% reached the core professional tier, surpassing even the era of Asura's birth. Hopes reignite for the rise of another legend. Suddenly, lightning split the sky. Inside a dim room, Zhang Yue jolted awake. Memories surged. He had died, yet here he was. As fragments of the body's past flooded in, Zhang Yue saw a life filled with hardship. Awakening as a beast tamer, one of the most ridiculed professions, led to heartbreak. His girlfriend left him. Powerless and poor, he couldn't afford his brother's treatment. Realizing he had reincarnated into someone bearing the same name 100 years later, Zhang Yue processed the truth. Beast tamers relied on pets for combat. Their strength was tied not only to their own growth but also to their pet's development. Cultivating a powerful beast tamer demanded wealth on par with a nation. For most, it was a path of failure. The former Zhang Yue had lost hope and sought an end. But now, he had been reborn. Once known as Zuluo, the strongest awakener in the Dragon Kingdom, he now inhabited this weak body. Standing before a mirror, Zhang Yue resolved to awaken again, to carry both the responsibilities and regrets of the life he inherited, and to conquer this unforgiving world in return. Just then, the system activated, announcing the gateway's imminent opening. Zhang Yue stepped into the space gate as it shimmered into existence. Inside the gate, the system delivered shocking news. Zhang Yue had defeated a 9th level Beasttide for the first time, earning a mythical achievement unmatched in the other world. His rewards totaled 2 trillion energy points, and he received the mythical item, Supreme Divine Oracle. Instantly activated, it granted him a permanent buff, a 10,000-fold increase in energy gain, including 999 times more from offline sources. Total energy surged, 200 trillion points. Stunned by the numbers, Zhang Yue realized the wealth hidden behind top-tier rewards. A Beasttide of this level brought unimaginable gains. The system then offered him a career reset, presenting 7 legendary core professions to choose from. Reflecting on his past life, Zhang Yue remembered awakening as an epic warrior. But in this new world, the strongest profession was clearly the beast tamer. Despite its power, the high resource demands made it nearly impossible to advance. However, with a rebirth and passive income accumulated over millions of years from AFK rewards, the choice became clear. He chose Necromancer. The system congratulated him. Zhang Yue had become the 4th mythic tier core professional, Necromancer, an advanced class of the beast tamer. Starting with a 100-star growth rating, his strength truly matched his rank. Unlike ordinary beast tamers, whose pets came from rare task rewards and couldn't be upgraded, necromancers could evolve pets and even harvest monsters to serve as their own. It was a profession worthy of mythic status. In his previous life, Zhang Yue had cleared 70 worlds in just 10 years, becoming #1 in the Dragon Kingdom. But this time, beginning with a mythic profession, he aimed for perfection, clearing every world, not just for the Dragon Kingdom, but to become the strongest in existence. The system then announced his entry into the first world of another world, Source of Nightmares. Based on his location, he was placed in the safety zone called Doomsday Town. Combat was prohibited here. The system asked if he wished to continue using the ID Asura. Zhang Yue declined. He chose a new identity, Zero. In this life, he would not just follow Asura's path, he would surpass it, and to transcend everything, there could only be Zero. Zhang Yue entered World 1, finding himself among several other people. Confusion filled the air as one girl looked around, comparing the world to reality. Another guy expressed disbelief, expecting monsters everywhere. But someone else explained that they were in a safe zone and that the monsters were outside. Suddenly, the system made an announcement. The World 1 mission had been launched and could be checked on the mission interface. Seeing this, some of the players realized the mission had already started. Zhang Yue opened his system interface to study the details of this world. It stated that when darkness engulfed the earth, monsters slumbering beneath would awaken, leading the world toward disaster. As a survivor, one had to break the apocalyptic pattern, endure countless calamities, and destroy the darkness. The first world task was to kill 1,000 monsters. The second was to collect 10 silver coins by either hunting monsters or completing tasks. Completing these objectives would unlock the teleportation channel to the world boss dungeon. Defeating the boss would grant access to the second world. After understanding the mission, Zhang Yue decided to buy some equipment before starting any quests. He arrived at the equipment shop and noticed it only offered basic rough items. The best available gear was just 1-star quality. The shop owner mentioned they also had higher quality equipment, but it required additional copper coins. Zhang handed over 100 copper coins and requested a 1-star gear set. The shop owner provided the equipment as requested. Nearby, some players started whispering about Zhang's decision. They noted that the newbie starter pack only gave 100 copper coins, and Zhang had spent it all at once. One of them remarked that adding a 1-star magic wand didn't boost attack power significantly, suggesting it was better to buy a full set of basic gear. Another person criticized the choice, saying it wasn't worth it. But Zhang Yue ignored their comments and walked away without responding. A girl nearby pointed out that only higher-tier weapons could refine attributes, and refining could increase attack power. In response, someone explained that refining required energy, a rare resource gained only in small amounts through monster hunting tasks. It was so valuable that most couldn't even afford upgrades. Using it to refine a 1-star wand seemed foolish to them. The group continued discussing Zhang's poor decisions. They believed he had no defense and would run into trouble soon. To them, he looked like a clueless countryside kid who wouldn't survive long without money. A short distance away, Zhang Yue reflected on the situation. He knew regular people earned limited energy from monster hunting, making it impossible to refine a 1-star weapon. But unlike others, what he needed right now was energy. With that thought, he began upgrading his equipment. The system warned that refining would consume 1 point of energy and had only a 10% chance to upgrade the item to a green attribute. Higher attributes would cost more and have even lower success rates. When prompted, Zhang confirmed the refinement. After a while, the process completed. The system reported that the equipment had been upgraded to its highest level. A total of 132 refinement attempts were made in one go, consuming 985 points of special energy. Zhang successfully acquired the golden attribute, the Flame Pioneer Staff. Pleased with the result, Zhang affirmed his decision. Refining 132 times in one click was only possible because he had billions of energy points. With his preparations finally complete, the real game was about to begin. A player was seen battling a monster, but the creature was far too powerful. He nervously realized that even this supposedly basic monster had an abnormally high health bar, and their attacks barely caused any damage. Just then, the monster lunged forward, forcing the player to dodge. In that moment, a powerful strike landed directly on the monster, instantly eliminating it in one blow. The devastating attack came from Zhang Yue. The system immediately notified him that he had slain the IVI mutant rat, granting him +2 experience points and an enormous 10,000 anomalous energy, thanks to the active 10,000-fold anomalous energy buff. Zhang noted that legendary professionals started with all base attributes maxed out, along with full-level equipment sets. Regular players usually had to form teams just to defeat these mutated rats, but now he could finish them with a single hit. Watching this, a nearby player was stunned by the sheer damage output. He couldn't believe anyone at this stage could have refined a beginner weapon to such power. But one thing was clear. Zhang was no ordinary player. Zhang analyzed the situation. Level 1 monsters provided too little experience. To level up faster, he needed to hunt monsters that were above his current level. Within this first world, called the Source of Nightmares, the enemies included low-level mutated rats, level 3 to 4 venomous spiders, level 5 to 7 armored scorpions, and level 8 to 9 enraged wild boars. The ultimate boss was a level 10 rampaging boar king. For now, targeting monsters above level 3 near the abandoned factory was the most efficient path. Noticing his strength, the earlier player tried to form a team with Zhang. His teammates, including some girls, also requested to join forces with him. But Zhang, maintaining his focus, declined their offer and walked away without hesitation. The team felt a chilling sense of pressure from Zhang. One of them commented that his aura was even more terrifying than the monsters. When they realized he was heading straight toward the abandoned factory, known for its extremely dangerous high-level monsters, they wondered if he planned to take them all on alone. At the factory, Zhang used his upgraded gear to eliminate each monster methodically. With every kill, his level continued to rise. Eventually, after defeating the final monster in the area, the system notified him of a level up. He had reached level 3. His health increased by 30 points, mana by 12, and he gained 6 free attribute points. He now needed 1,000 experience points to reach the next level. Along with the level up, Zhang unlocked a new skill, the Fireball spell. He noted that legendary class users received 6 times the upgrade bonuses compared to regular players. After 3 level ups, he had already gained 18 freely distributable attribute points. Since Beastamer and Mage shared a similar early progression, it was important to focus on faster casting, consistent output, and then agility. Ordinary professionals rarely used their limited supernatural abilities so early. But for Zhang, energy was the last thing he had to worry about in this life. With that in mind, Zhang began upgrading his Fireball skill. After consuming a large amount of energy points, he found the results satisfying. The fireball, now at max level, could deal 140% damage. At this pace, completing the first 2 world tasks and reaching level 8 before the boss fight seemed well within reach. His next goal was clear: defeat the boss and enter the second world. Zhang arrived at a location and opened the gate, only to find an NPC sitting inside in a severely injured condition. He observed the scene and reflected that apart from the terrifying reality that dying here meant true death, this world functioned almost exactly like a typical game, with quests, dungeons, and NPCs like the one now in front of him. The wounded NPC, struggling to speak, explained that his wife and child had been killed by monsters. He pleaded for Zhang's help in avenging them by eliminating the scorpions responsible. At that moment, the system prompted Zhang with a quest notification. A new mission had been triggered: eliminate scorpions, and it awaited his acceptance. Zhang considered the offer. Equipment obtained through NPC quests was usually superior to random monster drops. Since he currently possessed only a basic staff, accepting this mission seemed like a worthwhile investment. He began reading through the task details. Looking ahead into the area, Zhang noticed signs that there was more than just monsters lurking in this place. But for now, completing the mission remained his top priority. His eyes focused as he recognized the threat. This was the ironclad scorpion, the first intermediate-level monster in the first world. It had been a long time since he'd encountered one. Without delay, the ironclad scorpion launched its attack. Zhang immediately summoned his equipment and prepared for battle, signaling the start of a dangerous encounter. The battle between Zhang and the ironclad scorpion began instantly. As the monster charged at him, Zhang responded with a powerful fireball spell, obliterating the scorpion in a single blow. He noted the effectiveness of the super fireball spell, but also recognized its heavy mana consumption. As more ironclad scorpions closed in, Zhang braced himself, recalling a crucial detail. Once the number of ordinary scorpions dropped below a certain limit, it would trigger the early appearance of the ironclad emperor scorpion. And right on cue, the massive monster emerged. Zhang knew he had to defeat this creature before exhausting his mana completely. He launched a super fireball toward the emperor scorpion, but the attack bounced harmlessly off its thick armor. Without hesitation, Zhang dashed behind the beast and fired another spell directly at its weak spot. The attack landed perfectly, killing the emperor scorpion in one decisive strike. Completely drained, Zhang observed the fallen beast and realized he'd barely managed to immobilize it. All that remained was the final blow to complete the mission. Suddenly, someone attacked Zhang from behind. He swiftly dodged to the side, avoiding the ambush. With a calm smile, he acknowledged the attacker's presence, having sensed someone lurking in the shadows for a while. The enemy, surprised, asked how Zhang had known. Zhang responded coldly, drawing a line between honest players and those who relied on underhanded tactics like sneaking and ambushing. Declaring that his past enemies were far more dangerous, Zhang unleashed a fiery attack on the ambusher's companion, burning them instantly. Shocked by the sudden strike, the attacker questioned how Zhang could still use skills despite running out of mana. But before the intruder could retreat, the system chimed in. Upon killing the Emperor Scorpion, Zhang had triggered the Death Mage profession effect, Soul Harvesting. A prompt appeared, offering him the option to tame the ironclad Emperor Scorpion as a pet. Zhang accepted without hesitation. The scorpion's body began to revive as the effect activated. The system confirmed the successful acquisition of the Emperor Scorpion as Zhang's pet. He began analyzing the situation. Beastmasters usually struggled to level up because their pets relied on their own experience points. In the early stages, they had to spend double the experience. As more pets were added, the required experience grew exponentially, making it nearly impossible for average players. But Zhang had no shortage of experience right now. Stunned, the attacker asked who Zhang really was, unable to believe a beast tamer could possess such immense power. Zhang explained that he had sensed someone watching him ever since receiving the mission. He deduced that the attacker specialized in stealth, targeting solo adventurers, and planned an ambush to steal the mission rewards by killing the Scorpion King at the last moment. Realizing his mistake, the attacker panicked and attempted to flee. But Zhang provoked him to show his strength. At that moment, the newly tamed ironclad Emperor Scorpion lunged and attacked the fleeing enemy. Begging for mercy, the attacker pleaded for his life. But Zhang remained cold, declaring that in a world where predators hunt others, one must always be prepared to become prey. With the battle over, the wounded NPC approached Zhang with gratitude. Thankful for the revenge, he declared Zhang his brother. The system then confirmed the completion of the mission, eliminate the scorpions, and granted rewards. Zhang checked his loot and discovered a magic necklace and a pair of iron leg guards. The timing of the reward couldn't have been better, just when he urgently needed a power boost. He refined the equipment instantly. With the new gear and the Emperor Scorpion by his side, Zhang estimated that their leveling speed would now increase fivefold. Suddenly, an area-wide notification appeared. All professionals in Doomsday Town were alerted to the emergence of a hidden realm, City of the Apocalypse, level 5, nearby. The realm would remain open for 1 hour. Whoever conquered it first would earn generous rewards. The announcement stunned many professionals, but Zhang remained focused. The realm wasn't far, and with his current strength, he was determined to seize the first Conqueror reward. A group of players gathered near the portal to the level 5 secret realm. One of them stepped forward and encouraged others to join him, claiming that the first-time rewards inside were extremely generous and could make them rich. But another player quickly dismissed the idea, pointing out that with their current level, entering a level 5 realm was practically a death sentence. While the rewards were tempting, survival was unlikely. The first player suggested forming a team to increase their chances. Zhang arrived on the scene, observing the crowd and noting how many seemed eager to challenge the secret realm. Just then, a figure of high status appeared. President Liu Qing, son of the richest man Liu Yue. His arrival caught everyone's attention. Spectators whispered in awe about Liu Qing's extravagant nature. Every one of his subordinates was equipped with full sets of one-star gear, each piece costing tens of thousands. A girl standing beside Liu Qing turned her gaze to Zhang. Recognizing her, Zhang remembered that she was the original owner's ex-girlfriend, Lin Yuezhu. She mocked Zhang, reminding him that he was just a struggling beast tamer who couldn't even afford rent, yet dared to dream about tackling a level 5 realm. Zhang replied with a serious expression, unfazed by her taunts. Yuezhu was taken aback. In the past, Zhang would beg for her attention. But now, something felt different. She turned to Liu Qing and declared that only powerful individuals like Master Yao deserved to clear such elite realms. She added that others should stop chasing delusions. Liu Qing hugged Yuezhu and mocked Zhang, claiming that being dumped must sting. He suggested that people should know their limits and that clinging to impossible dreams wouldn't help. But Zhang coldly responded, calling Yuezhu nothing more than an old shoe he'd already worn. If Liu Qing wanted her, he could have her. As for the secret realm, Zhang said the real delusional one was someone else entirely. Enraged, Yuezhu shouted at Zhang and demanded Master Yao teach him a lesson. Zhang warned them to value their lives. She scoffed at the threat, claiming to know Master Yao's weakness and calling him trash. Meanwhile, Liu Qing studied Zhang closely. He realized he couldn't see Zhang's level or profession, which meant Zhang was deliberately hiding them. Qing decided to drop the matter for now, saying he had no time to waste and would spare Zhang's life this time. He called out to his group, reminding them to carry resurrection scrolls, and led them into the portal to attempt the first clear. His followers all responded in unison. A bystander approached Zhang, urging him to accept the reality that poor, weak players couldn't compete with powerful second-generation elites. But Zhang replied that if someone truly believed they were weak and poor, they should focus on becoming stronger. In his mind, Zhang reflected that while the original Zhang Yue may have been poor, he was now Ashura, and things were different. The bystander scoffed, thinking Zhang was still just pretending to act tough. Nearby players chatted among themselves, stunned by the wealth on display. Resurrection scrolls sold for 3,000 each in the market, and Qing's group had them all. These scrolls could be used twice within 7 days, effectively giving users 3 lives. Many believed the Supreme Guild would surely claim the first clear this time. Zhang analyzed the situation. Secret realms often had powerful boss monsters guarding the end. While he could easily handle ordinary monsters, facing the final boss would be difficult unless both he and his iron-armored scorpion reached level 5. With the right equipment and fully upgraded skills, he could potentially secure a flawless solo victory. As Liu Qing's group entered the portal, Yuezhu complained that Zhang had humiliated her and questioned why Qing hadn't avenged her. He explained that acting in public could ruin both the Liu families and the guild's reputation. If accused of randomly killing professionals, the fallout would be severe. But he assured her that the useless beast tamer would be brought to his knees eventually. Yuezhu smiled, pleased that he cared about her. Inside the realm, Zhang started battling monsters. He thought about how ordinary beast tamers required their pets to gain the same amount of experience as their masters. Fortunately, as a necromancer, his pets only needed half. By letting his iron-armored scorpion defeat a few minor monsters, it could level up rapidly in the early stages. Watching from the shadows, a few players observed Zhang's performance and were shocked. One of them recognized him as the poor guy who had argued with Liu Yao earlier. Another admitted they had underestimated him. His level 5 scorpion could instantly kill enemies. A group of girls approached Zhang, impressed by his strength. They begged to join him, asking to be his friends or even girlfriends, promising loyalty. Zhang simply refused and walked away. The system suddenly announced that the level 5 secret realm, City of the Unknown, would close in 10 minutes. Zhang assessed his current setup. With his scorpion at level 5 and properly equipped for defense, it could tank from the front while he provided magical firepower from behind. His mana-restoring gear enabled him to cast Fireball repeatedly, greatly increasing his monster-killing efficiency. 10 minutes would be more than enough. With that, Zhang stepped into the portal. Inside, the scene turned grim for Liu Qing's group. Qing was badly wounded and frustrated. They had nearly defeated the boss scorpion. One of his allies lamented that as level 2 professionals, they were no match for a level 7 boss. It was a suicide mission. Yuezhu agreed, saying the monsters were too strong and that survival should now be their priority. Another player urged the team to use resurrection scrolls and escape before the monster chased them down. Suddenly, the group looked up in shock. Someone was approaching. It was Zhang. Qing stared in disbelief, furious that Zhang dared to enter the level 5 secret realm alone. He shouted at Zhang, asking if he wasn't afraid of dying. Zhang responded with a smile. The others questioned what he was laughing at. Weiju tried to calm Qing, pointing out that Zhang probably didn't even own a resurrection scroll and had just entered to die. With that, the group made a hasty retreat, leaving Zhang alone in the heart of the realm. The system welcomed everyone to the level 5 secret realm, known as the City of the Apocalypse. Unbothered by the chaos around him, Zhang moved forward, ignoring the noise and distractions. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and a powerful level 7 boss monster, the iron-armored scorpion leader, emerged from beneath the earth. Zhang observed the massive creature, noting how its health bar was several times thicker than the lesser monsters he had faced before. Without hesitation, his own iron-armored scorpion engaged the boss in battle. Zhang felt confident. With the right equipment and the scorpion's innate skills, even a level 7 boss couldn't land a damaging blow. Trusting his strategy, he joined the fight and launched a barrage of attacks. A series of blazing fireballs formed in his hands and he unleashed them all at once, bombarding the monster with overwhelming force. The boss fell in a single decisive strike. Zhang stood atop the fallen beast, victorious. Immediately after, the system broadcasted a message to all players. Congratulations to Player 0 for being the first to complete the Level 5 Secret Realm, City of the Apocalypse. The reward granted was a Secret Realm Scroll of Black Iron grade. Outside the portal, everyone was stunned by the sudden announcement. One player expressed disbelief at Zero's strength, impressed by the fact that someone had actually cleared a Level 5 Secret Realm. Yueju, still processing what had happened, turned to Qing in shock. She pointed out that most players were only around level 1 to 3. A guardian in a level 5 realm would at least be a level 6 or 7 boss. She couldn't understand how it was possible. Qing considered the possibility that it could have been her ex-boyfriend. He had entered the realm just before the announcement was made. Yueju quickly rejected the idea. She reminded Qing that Zhang had hidden his identity and didn't even seem to have a pet. To her, there was no way he could have defeated a level 7 boss alone. Qing agreed it was unlikely. Whoever managed to kill the scorpion leader had to be someone exceptional. Determined to uncover the truth, Qing turned to his team and ordered them to investigate the identity of the player named Zero. He offered a generous reward to anyone who could recruit this mysterious powerhouse into the Supreme Guild to work under his command. After the boss monster was defeated, several valuable items appeared around its body. Zhang examined the loot, noting the significantly higher drop rate compared to regular monsters. Copper coins, blueprints, and equipment were scattered across the ground, but the most important item among them was a scroll. To him, upgradable Mystic Realm scrolls held far more value than a few thousand coins. Without delay, Zhang upgraded the scroll with a single click. He recognized its worth immediately. A king-level Mystic Realm scroll had never appeared in the First World. If released into the market, it could fetch hundreds of thousands. For most professionals, that amount was life-changing. But Zhang's goal was not wealth. He aimed to conquer the other world. The system then notified him of a new bounty quest tied to the scroll: Save the Survivor. It had a time limit and promised rich rewards upon completion. Zhang noticed the difficulty rating, 100. The reward was unknown. It was a king-level bounty quest, but the objective seemed simple: escort an NPC. More system information followed. Darkness had spread across the land. Monsters had awakened, and humanity was on the brink of disaster. Within the First World's source of nightmares, Zhang was tasked with finding the survivor, Aileen, and escorting her to the safe zone in N-Town. The challenge became clear. The map was designed for level 10 players, while Zhang was only level 5. Worse, the area was infested with berserk boars, known to attack in deadly packs. Still, he decided to move forward and locate Aileen first. Soon, a monster was seen chasing a young girl. Suddenly, a powerful attack struck it down in one hit. It was Zhang's strike. The girl, now safe, asked if he had come to save her. Zhang confirmed. The system confirmed that the survivor Aileen had been found. 10 hours remained to complete the quest. Suddenly, another monster approached. Zhang immediately prepared for battle. As the creature lunged toward him, Zhang struck back with his gear, defeating it. But the threat didn't end there. More monsters emerged, surrounding both Zhang and Aileen. Zhang assessed the situation. Despite having a mythical-level profession, a gold attribute staff, and an A-grade fireball spell, his attacks weren't dealing enough damage. If Aileen died, the quest would fail. He quickly summoned his iron scorpion to cover them. The scorpion responded perfectly, drawing the monster's attention. Zhang began firing off fireballs one after another, wiping out enemies as he fought through the swarm. Encouraged by his progress, he pushed forward, determined to keep going and gain more experience. Despite defeating several monsters, Zhang realized the boars kept coming. Their relentless charges were draining his mana rapidly. Aileen looked up at him with concern, asking if he was okay. Zhang reassured her, promising to get her back safely. Just then, a boar charged at Zhang, but he incinerated it with his equipment. He took a moment to breathe, noting that his HP was still relatively high. Any less, and the boar's impact would have been unbearable. His iron scorpion was also nearing its limit. The bounty quest was proving far tougher than expected. Opening his system window, Zhang felt relief. He had leveled up twice during the battle. It was time to boost his attack power using the equipment he'd obtained from the Scorpion King. He equipped the Glory Lord's battle ring and raised it toward the sky. Instantly, a massive fire tornado surged around him. Now, with just 2 fireballs, he could kill a boar, something that previously took 7 or 8. In one explosive move, all the boar monsters were wiped out. Zhang exhaled in relief. The path was finally clear. Now, all that remained was to escort Aileen safely to Endtown and complete the quest. Before he could move, Qing appeared. He was surprised that Zhang had survived the Mystic Realm. Zhang showed no interest in conversation. He dismissed Qing as a small fry and told him to leave. Yueju, irritated, turned to Qing. She reminded him that as a level 5 elite with full gold equipment, he could easily crush most newcomers. She urged him to teach Zhang a lesson. Qing drew his sword, declaring that last time Zhang had been lucky. This time, he planned to end it. Zhang welcomed the challenge, offering him a shot. Qing charged forward and struck with his sword. But Zhang remained unharmed. Qing and Yueju both stared in disbelief. Yueju couldn't believe what she was seeing. To her, Zhang was just an unarmed beast tamer, and yet even Brother Yao couldn't defeat him? Zhang laughed, calm and confident. The performance was over. Now, it was his turn. Zhang raised his equipment toward the sky once again, summoning a massive tornado of fire. The blazing attack shook Qing to his core. In a panic, he revealed his identity as the president of the Supreme Guild and the eldest son of Lin Hai's richest Liu family, threatening Zhang not to strike him. But Zhang unleashed his attack anyway. The overwhelming force left Qing broken and defeated. After taking Qing down, Zhang reflected on the rules of the other world. In this realm, professionals were usually marked by white names. But when a white-named professional maliciously attacked another, their name turned gray temporarily. During that time, any counterattack by the victim wouldn't count as evil. If the attacker succeeded in killing the other white-named player, their name would turn red, and they'd gain 100 evil points. Red-named players would then be barred from safe zones and couldn't exit the other world unless they either removed their evil points by killing enough monsters or faced death themselves. And with death came major losses, levels, experience, and a huge amount of equipment and items. Watching from a distance, Yueju was stunned. She couldn't believe Zhang had taken down Liu Yao with a single blow. She hadn't realized when he had grown so powerful. Zhang then turned toward her. Panicked, Yueju demanded to know what he intended to do. Her thoughts raced. She had already used one of her revival scrolls to escape a previous realm. If she used her second one now, she'd have no safety net left. But Zhang didn't attack. He simply picked up the little girl and started walking away. While leaving, he glanced at Yueju, thinking that sparing her was the right choice. Attacking white-named players could interfere with his quest, and he had no time for distractions. Furious, Yueju watched him go. Being ignored by someone she considered beneath her only fueled her anger. Soon after, Zhang safely escorted the little girl back home, completing the bounty quest. As a reward, he received several items, including an ice staff. He summoned the staff into his hand and immediately began the refining process. After refining it 144 times, he noted how high-quality equipment consumed a lot of energy to refine. Still, the cost didn't matter. He had it under control. Next, he checked another reward, a pet egg. Zhang recognized it as a normal one. Since he had gathered several such eggs while grinding monsters, he decided to use them to feed his iron-armored scorpion. Just then, the system notified him. His pet had evolved into a silver-armored scorpion. Zhang was satisfied. With a 2-star staff, a newly evolved scorpion, and the gold equipment dropped by Liu Yao, he was confident he now had the strength to challenge the final boss of the First World. But before that, he needed to restock his supplies. He opened a portal and exited the realm. Back in the real world, Zhang's phone rang. The call was urgent. A hospital representative reminded him that his brother Zheng Zhao's 390,000 yuan medical bill was overdue. If the payment wasn't made, treatment would stop. Zhang calmly asked for the hospital's payment account, promising to transfer the amount within 10 minutes. He opened his system window, planning to sell some of the gold equipment. Just a few pieces would fetch millions, which would easily cover the medical expenses. Helping the original body's family felt like the right thing to do. But a warning popped up. The equipment was bound, untradeable and undroppable. Realizing this was likely a side effect of the tenfold buff, Zhang frowned. The world's mechanics were airtight. Since he couldn't sell the gear, he checked the silver coins he had. They barely totaled over 10,000 yuan, not nearly enough. Zhang began scanning job listings on his phone. Most were hourly training jobs, too slow to make serious money. Then a post caught his eye. Someone was offering 30,000 yuan to hire a new professional from Linhai City's First World for training. Zhang smirked as he read the offer. A deadly reward indeed. Just the kind of opportunity he was looking for. Zhang made a call to inquire about the forum's 300,000 yuan training bounty. A woman on the call explained the requirements. First, the participant must be a new professional from the current session. Second, they must escort a designated person through the First World. Zhang agreed to the mission but demanded 390,000 yuan instead. The woman responded that she could offer 400,000 yuan upon successful completion. Zhang then asked about the starting time, and she told him to meet at the Resurrection Spring in Doomsday Town in 10 minutes. Zhang thought to himself that he had already planned to clear the first world, and now he would earn 400,000 yuan just for escorting someone. It seemed like a good deal. After arriving at the designated spot, a woman appeared. Zhang asked her if she had hired a trainer. Onlookers began whispering among themselves, recognizing the woman as the Doom Mage, known for always wearing the same outfit. They noticed the weak beast tamer beside her and speculated whether he had accepted that task. Zhang teamed up with the girl and suggested they first complete the world mission. As they started walking, he reminded her of the prerequisites to clear the first world, killing 1,000 monsters and collecting 10 coins. She confirmed that she was aware. Once they reached the area, Zhang explained that according to the alternate world settings, professionals couldn't deal force damage to monsters more than 5 levels above them. Even if he left a monster at 1 GP, she would need to land the final blow. Then, Zhang summoned his ice staff and suggested they begin completing the prerequisites while leveling her up. He engaged in a battle with a scorpion monster, thinking about the control skill book he had earned earlier. While not as strong as Fireball, it was still a decent support skill. He told the girl to stop daydreaming and finish the monster. She used her magic power to attack the scorpion, resulting in her leveling up 3 times in a row. Surprised, she wondered how that was even possible. Suddenly, another scorpion monster attacked from behind. Zhang quickly pulled her aside and jumped with her to safety. Using his fire technique, he launched a fierce attack on the new scorpion. The girl remained silent, simply watching him. Zhang told her to get up and reminded her they were at a training spot. As they continued walking together, Zhang asked her age. She responded using her fingers. Zhang guessed she was 21 and noted that everyone could awaken their profession at 18. Since she should have entered the alternate world 3 years ago, he questioned why her level was still so low. The girl suddenly stopped walking. Zhang asked what was wrong. She thanked him for helping her level up and told him he could leave now. As compensation, she offered 10,000 yuan and asked him not to inform her sister. Zhang replied that he thought she wasn't the talkative type, but assured her that he had made a promise to her sister and would help her clear the first world no matter what. The girl then mentioned how everyone considered her a jinx. She believed that walking with her would only bring him bad luck. Zhang admitted he had been curious earlier and asked about her class. She explained that a Doom Mage was someone who only caused trouble. Just then, a group of people appeared. One of them stated that the forum claimed anyone who took on her task was destined to die a horrible death. But if someone killed her, they would gain lots of experience and special energy. Another person declared they would act as justice today and target her. The girl warned Zhang that their opponents were all around level 5 or 6, making them no match. She urged him to leave since they were only after her. But Zhang summoned his ice staff, questioning if they were planning to take his 400,000 yuan reward without permission. Right at that moment, Qing appeared and commented on the brawl, finding it exciting. Recognizing him, the attackers panicked. They realized he was Liu Yao, the young master of the richest man in Linhai, and suspected he was there to snatch the kill. One of them nervously approached Qing to clarify their intentions. But Qing cut him off, telling him to shut up. He then walked over to Zhang, recognizing him from before. Zhang asked if he was here to give him more equipment and reminded him that resurrection scrolls couldn't be used within 7 days. In response, Qing signaled with his hand, prompting his men to draw their weapons and prepare for battle. Zhang's confused reaction made Qing frown. Turning around, Qing saw his men holding swords in their hands. Without hesitation, he punched one of them on the head, scolding him for misunderstanding his earlier command. When he told them to grab weapons, this wasn't what he meant. To Zhang's surprise, the men suddenly surrounded him and placed a gift box in front of him, politely asking him to accept it. The girl standing beside Zhang was startled by this unexpected gesture. Yuezhu, visibly confused, asked Qing about his intentions. But Qing simply told her to keep quiet. Then, facing Zhang, he explained that he didn't want to use force, as it would make him appear insincere. These were rare treasures he had carefully selected as a sincere offer. If Zhang agreed to join his guild and work under him, all of it would be his. And not just that, Qing was even willing to offer a monthly salary of 50,000. Yuezhu immediately jumped in, reminding Zhang that someone as poor as him would need 10 years of hard work to earn that much. She insisted it was smarter to obediently join Brother Yao's guild. In her mind, helping Brother Yao now would earn his favor, and once Zhang joined, she would have plenty of chances to teach him a lesson. 2 birds with 1 stone. But Zhang wasn't interested in flattery or gifts. He declared that he only respected those stronger than him. If Qing wanted to prove his worth, then force was the way to go. Maybe then, Zhang would consider the offer. Yuezhu lost her temper, yelling that Zhang was insane to turn down such a generous offer. For someone like him, who was barely surviving, it was more than he could hope to earn in a year. She questioned what right he had to reject Brother Yao. Unbothered, Zhang replied that people of the same nature stick together. If she preferred being a dog rather than a human, that was her choice. But he wasn't like her. If they weren't going to fight, then they should step aside and stop blocking his path. Qing calmly instructed his people to let Zhang go. Yueju was stunned by his decision and questioned whether he was truly going to allow such disrespect. But Qing repeated his order, asking if something was wrong with her ears. Left with no choice, Yueju acknowledged the command. Zhang and the girl walked away from the scene. One of Qing's men, unable to contain his anger, reminded him that Zhang had once killed him. He couldn't understand why Qing was letting him go again despite the disrespect. But Qing responded with a punch to the man's mouth. With a smile, Qing mused that the things one can't have are often the most desirable, while those easily obtained lose their value. Yueju, still confused, reminded him that he once swore to do anything to kill Zhang Yue. She couldn't understand when his intentions had changed. Qing grabbed Yueju's chin and told her it probably happened after Zhang killed him. She kept emphasizing how poor Zhang's family was and how he couldn't even afford golden equipment. But Qing had noticed something strange. Despite being a simple beast tamer, Zhang had dealt unusually high damage. Qing had become convinced that Zhang was no ordinary person. He had to recruit him into his supreme guild. Yueju clenched her teeth in anger, thinking to herself that there was nothing special about him. No one understood him better than she did. He was just a worthless pauper. But she swore that she would eventually make Zhang kneel before her once again. Meanwhile, as they walked away, the girl beside Zhang thanked him for protecting her. Zhang told her not to thank him. It was simply because her life was worth 400,000 win to him. But she replied that maybe it was better to forget about it, as he wouldn't be able to complete the task anyway. Zhang asked why she had posted a bounty on the forum if she lacked confidence. If she was having second thoughts, she could have backed out instead of entering the other world. The girl admitted that she had already given up long ago. She reminded him about her cursed body and told him to see for himself. She opened her system and revealed information about her cursed mage class. Zhang was taken aback. This was a special profession. In the other world, apart from core and life professions, there existed a third category: special professions. Those who broke through their restrictions could evolve into high-level, possibly even legendary or mythical professions. But most people failed to break free and faded into obscurity. The girl explained that ever since she awakened the special profession 3 years ago, she had tried hundreds of times without success. And because of the team system restrictions, she couldn't partner with anyone more than 10 levels above her. Zhang wondered aloud how 2 people, with a maximum difference of 10 levels each, could possibly defeat the first world's boss, but the girl simply told him to leave. Instead, Zhang said he could do it. He would take her through the first world. Hearing this, the girl broke down in tears and grabbed his hand, asking if he was serious. Zhang thought to himself that for 3 years, he had dreamed of breaking the cursed profession limit and becoming a revered professional. Could it really be possible now? Shaking the thoughts away, he told her to stop talking. First, they had to complete the world mission. Zhang activated his skill and explained that in the first world, adventurers must complete the world mission to qualify for the boss challenge. With a single overwhelming move, he wiped out all the monsters around him. The girl beside him watched in shock, realizing that this might be Zhang's true strength. In just a few hours, he had completed the world mission, eliminating over 1,000 monsters and collecting a massive amount of coins. With the prerequisites now met, Zhang confirmed they were ready to challenge the boss. The girl agreed, though she admitted it felt strange. Someone as powerful as him wouldn't usually take on such low-level tasks. Zhang simply replied that it was because he was a second-class person. This answer made the girl smile, while Zhang secretly thought to himself that the real reason was his desperate need for money in the real world. Without wasting time, Zhang pressed the button in the system window to initiate the boss challenge. A portal appeared before them. Zhang asked if she was ready, and she responded with excitement. The two stepped through the portal together and entered the demon abyss. The system immediately informed them that they had entered the first world's nightmare boss field, Demon Abyss. They now had a 1-hour time limit to defeat the boss, the Berserk Wild Boar King. Failing to do so, or dying in the attempt, would reset the mission and require them to complete the world mission again to reattempt the challenge. Zhang began preparing by handing the girl rare consumables, resurrection scrolls and instant recovery potions, high-end items not easily acquired. Although confident he could clear the first world on his own, he knew the other world was unpredictable, and it was best to be prepared. He also suggested equipping the defense gear they had found earlier, including the guardian armor dropped by Liu Yao onto the silver-armored scorpion. With this setup, they had a better chance at surviving the boss's attacks. Suddenly, the boss appeared, a massive, intimidating wild boar king. Seeing it, the girl tried to calm herself, believing that this time they would succeed. Zhang recalled how even dozens of people had failed to defeat this boss in the past. Now, it was just the 2 of them. After so many failed attempts, it was no wonder that over 400,000 people had developed a psychological trauma toward the wild boar king. As the boss roared and began charging, Zhang instructed the girl to hide and focus on healing the silver-armored scorpion. When she asked about him, he confidently stated that he would handle the boss himself. With that, the wild boar king lunged forward. Zhang launched a fire attack immediately, but the powerful monster remained unharmed. He acknowledged that the creature was indeed as tough as expected for a boss-level enemy. The beast charged again, forcing Zhang to bring his pet, the silver-armored scorpion, into the fight. Zhang followed up with a fireball attack and reminded himself that no matter how tough the boss was, as long as the scorpion could tank the attacks, He could keep fighting. The Boar King retaliated, pushing the scorpion back with sheer force. Zhang realized that this would not be as easy as he'd hoped. As the monster turned its attention to him, charging once again, the girl screamed in panic, telling Zhang to dodge. Zhang, holding his ground, responded with resolve. Just a little longer, he thought. Just a bit more. As the Wild Boar King lunged toward Zhang, he calmly waited for the right moment. Just as the beast neared him, Zhang activated his freeze attack, temporarily halting the monster's charge. Observing this, the girl was startled, realizing that low-star bosses naturally had a 50% resistance to control effects, meaning the freeze wouldn't last long. Infuriated, the Wild Boar King let out a thunderous roar, entering a berserk state. The girl recognized the trigger and knew things were escalating quickly. At that moment, Zhang's silver-armored scorpion charged in and launched a surprise attack on the boss. Zhang then shouted at the girl to heal the scorpion, and she immediately began channeling healing energy toward it. Despite her efforts, she grew concerned. Even with constant healing, the silver-armored scorpion was struggling to hold its ground. What they lacked wasn't defense, but stronger damage output. Zhang, however, remained focused. He insisted they didn't need to last much longer, just enough to complete his plan. With that, he unleashed his flame attack, melting the surrounding ice and setting the Boar King ablaze. The blazing fire surrounded the monster, and Zhang declared that even a level 10 2-star Wild Boar King couldn't withstand the full power of someone equipped with 2-star metal gear and a legendary class profession. The monster howled in agony, consumed by the flames. Watching Zhang, the girl was stunned by his precision. She had never seen anyone use two skills so fluidly and effectively. The battle ended with the Wild Boar King collapsing to the ground, defeated. Zhang emerged victorious and was rewarded with several valuable items, a skill book, a magic storm coat, and a dark blood sniper violence ring. The girl received a notification from the system. She had broken the career limit of a disaster mage. Shocked, she could hardly believe what just happened. Not only had she escaped the limitations of her class, but she had also evolved into an epic core profession. Meanwhile, the system broadcasted the news to all players. The world boss, Berserk Wild Boar King, had been defeated. The entire player base was stunned. Whispers spread quickly. Some questioned if the first world had really been cleared in just half a day. Others were confused by the lack of party notifications. They were shocked to learn only 2 players had taken part. One of them, just a disaster mage with no known combat ability, had to rely entirely on someone else. Soon, 2 portals opened before Zhang. One glowed red, leading to the second world. The other was blue, offering a return to the first. Zhang decided to head back first, wanting to settle a few things before advancing further. As he walked toward the blue portal, the girl asked where he was going. He casually replied that he was off to ask her sister for money, then disappeared into the passage. The girl realized the truth. Zhang was the mysterious professional known as Zero, the one who had become the first to clear the secret realm. Elsewhere, inside the towering Su Corporation building, an assistant informed Miss Su of an incoming call. On the line, her younger sister confirmed that she had completed the task and requested her payment. Miss Su, however, was skeptical. She asked for time to verify the claim, suspecting it to be another scam. After all, only half a day had passed, far too quick for such a feat. Moments later, her sister burst into the office, glowing with excitement. She shared her success. Not only had she broken the disaster body's limit, but she had also acquired the epic core profession of a forbidden mage. Surprised, Miss Su acknowledged that no one in their family had ever reached beyond the rare level profession. She assumed many people must have helped her sister, but her sister revealed the truth. Only one person had helped. This revelation left Miss Su speechless. She sat down at her desk and checked the system logs. The helper, as she suspected, was Zero, the professional who had become a sensation online. With a smile, Miss Su realized what this meant. Her sister and Zero had shattered a century-old record and were now the first group ready to enter the second world. Their achievement would elevate the Su family's status within Dragon Nation. Wasting no time, Miss Su called for an emergency board meeting. She declared that to be the first to conquer the second world, they had to recruit Zero into Rain Pavilion, regardless of the cost. Zhang received a call from the hospital informing him that his remittance had been received and that he could reach out any time for further requests. Feeling relieved, he asked them to take good care of his younger brother and ensure a full recovery. However, the hospital reminded him that his brother's injuries were quite severe, and continued hospitalization would cost around 40,000 to 50,000 yuan per month. Hearing this, Zhang recalled how costly the treatment was and regretted not agreeing to the rich man's offer earlier. Just then, Zhang received another call, this time from Su. She introduced herself as Su Jinya, the vice president of the Yanyu Pavilion Guild. She invited Zhang to join their guild, explaining that the company offered full benefits, including social insurance, a base salary of 30,000 yuan per month, and performance bonuses. Zhang saw this as perfect timing and agreed to join. Su and her sister were delighted to hear his decision. But Zhang added one condition. He would only participate during major guild events or when needed, and the guild must not interfere with his personal freedom at other times. Another man interrupted, disagreeing with Zhang's demand. He stated that guild members were expected to work consistently, and personal freedom couldn't override guild responsibilities. Zhang immediately ended the call, saying that if they couldn't accept his terms, there was no point in continuing. After the call ended, Su Chen, chairman of the Su Corporation, asked if this was the person Su had insisted on recruiting. Su confirmed, explaining that Zhang, along with Jin Yan, had recently cleared the first world boss in just half a day, breaking a century-old record. She stressed that Zhang was a rare talent they had to secure immediately. Her sister also praised Zhang, calling him amazing. Su suggested agreeing to his terms first, and then observing how he adapted within the guild. Her sister noted that Zhang had mentioned he wasn't seeking complete freedom, just selective participation. Su Chen approved the idea but warned that if Zhang failed to comply with management, he would personally decide what to do with him. Shortly after, Zhang received a call again. This time, Su informed him that they had agreed to his conditions and asked when he could report to the company. Zhang responded that he would work from home, mentioning that since they were all in Linhai City and the login points for the other world were the same, there was no need to visit the company physically. Su was initially surprised but accepted his arrangement without issue. Zhang found the guild president easy to negotiate with and felt confident now that his income was stable. With finances settled, he focused on strategizing for the other world. The system then prompted him to choose a world to enter, either the Source of Dreams or the Zombie Siege. Zhang chose to enter the second world. Upon entry, the system announced that the apocalypse had arrived. Humanity had begun mutating under its grip, and zombies were laying siege to cities. As a survivor in Notting City, Zhang had to join others in defending it. If the zombies succeeded in building their own city, there would be no place left to escape. Zhang noted that the minimum level for the second dungeon was level 15. To complete the first task, he needed to level up quickly. Just then, he heard a voice behind him. Turning around, he saw a soldier captain briefing his team. The captain urged everyone to prepare defenses quickly, warning that a massive zombie wave would strike within the next 2 days. Supplies in the warehouse were running low, and the defenders needed weapons urgently. Zhang realized that although Notting City was a safe zone, the constant zombie attacks created a tense and suffocating environment. The captain approached Zhang and asked him to head west of Notting City to slay mutant zombies and collect materials to help forge weapons. Zhang understood that this was one of the easier tasks within the city, with a wide operational range and an attack squad level spanning from 11 to 20. The system then assigned Zhang his task. He was to collect 100 elemental cores, fire, ice, and poison types, from mutant zombies west of the city to restock the weapon supply. Zhang smiled upon seeing the task details. The rewards were quite generous and could significantly help him progress through the second world. He confidently assured the captain he would handle it. The captain thanked him. The scene shifted to the defense camp outside Notting City. The entire area was engulfed in flames, and zombies roamed all around. Zhang arrived at the camp with his scorpion, ready to begin the mission. He launched his fire attacks against the zombies. However, when a fire-type zombie charged at him, his scorpion crushed it with a single move. Zhang quickly realized that fire skills had limited effect on fire zombies, reducing the damage significantly. He decided to switch tactics, activating his ice skill instead, and prepared to test how long it would last against the undead. Zhang commanded his silver-armored scorpion to draw the attention of the flame zombies. Responding instantly, the scorpion lunged forward and clamped the zombie's arms tightly with its claws. With the elite-level gear equipped on the scorpion, combined with the lifesteal effect from both the bodyguard skill and armor, the flame zombie couldn't even land a damaging blow. Yet, something about the situation felt strangely too smooth to Zhang. Without wasting time, he raised his staff and unleashed an ice attack, instantly eliminating the zombie in a single strike. After the kill, Zhang noticed the meager loot. Only a few copper coins dropped. It was clear that the monster drop rate at this level was disappointingly low. Even after clearing multiple zombies, Zhang had only managed to collect about 50 fire-type corpse cores. Despite working through the entire afternoon, he was far from completing the mission. The poor rewards and low drop rates made it feel unrewarding. Missing his meal had left him starving, and he decided to log off, planning to resume the mission later that night. Just as he prepared to exit, a sudden, fierce roar echoed behind him. Turning around sharply, Zhang recognized the stance. It had to be a respawned boss monster. Emerging from the shadows, a level 14 Icefire zombie commander appeared. Its presence confirmed Zhang's suspicion. The boss monster's value was undeniable. Defeating it might yield rare gear or even a skill book. The boss locked eyes with Zhang, prompting him to summon his staff. Before Zhang could act, the monster roared and launched an ice attack. Zhang swiftly dodged and countered with a fireball, successfully hitting his opponent. However, facing a dual-attribute enemy, one that wielded both ice and fire, Zhang realized his skills would only be half as effective. This monster was practically built to counter his current build. The boss retaliated with a powerful attack aimed directly at Zhang, but the silver-armored scorpion leaped in just in time to shield him. The immense damage stunned Zhang. The boss followed up with a flurry of ice sparks targeting the scorpion. The system soon alerted Zhang. His silver-armored scorpion had died. To revive it, he would need to wait 3 hours at the Spring of Life and accept penalties of -1 level and -10 loyalty. However, thanks to his necromancer class, the scorpion would automatically revive within 1 hour, free of penalties. Even with his strong pet, Zhang realized this boss was on a different level compared to anything in the first world. Its strength was overwhelming. Suddenly, a thunderous strike hit the boss from above. Jinyan, Su's sister, had entered the scene and launched the surprise attack. She took charge of controlling the boss, allowing Zhang to focus solely on dealing damage. With determination, Zhang prepared to wear the monster down, even if his attacks were only half as effective. Jinyan cast a fireball, and to Zhang's surprise, the spell also immobilized the boss. She followed up seamlessly with a light-based skill. Watching the perfect chain of 3 back-to-back abilities, Zhang recognized her true power. This was the strength of an epic class, the Forbidden Mage. Zhang unleashed his fire skill, launching a blazing attack at the boss monster, while Jinyan supported him with her own magic skills. Working in perfect sync, the two overwhelmed the powerful enemy and brought it down. Upon its defeat, the system awarded them 4 million energy points. Zhang acknowledged the massive gain and suggested splitting the zombie leader's rewards evenly. But Jinyan refused, explaining that she was already on a quest and had run into him by chance. She reminded him that he'd helped her clear the first world, and she hadn't even thanked him properly. When Zhang replied that her sister had already settled the debt, Jinyan insisted that she was her own person. Extending her hand, she introduced herself, and Zhang did the same. With both of them being in the same guild and working on similar collection quests, Jinyan proposed teaming up for greater efficiency. Curious, Zhang asked about her profession effect. Jinyan, excited, described that all her control-type skills convert into immobilization, with a 30% increase in duration. Additionally, her skills gained a 1-second immobilization effect and a 30% cooldown reduction. Zhang, impressed by her powerful control abilities, realized that their teamwork would significantly boost their monster hunting efficiency. Jinyan then asked about his next destination. Zhang mentioned he was heading back to Notting City and suggested regrouping in 10 minutes to continue farming monsters. Hearing this, Jinyan happily recalled her old promise, to marry the one who helped her break the curse of calamity, then quickly shook off the thought, embarrassed by her own imagination. Meanwhile, Zhang checked his newly acquired loot. He had received 3 pieces of equipment and a skill book. Planning to sell the 1-star gear, he decided the rest would enhance his power well enough. The agility boost of 10 points pleased him, but he knew he still needed stronger offensive skills. He refined one of his skills, prompting the system to update. Super Flame Missile, Grade A, summons 3 flame missiles that each deal 110% magic damage, consuming 72 mana. Zhang noted his increased speed and newfound skill, confident that monsters would no longer even get close to him. Right then, the system notified him of a guild invitation from Sujinya. Zhang accepted it and geared up, ready to dive back into questing. He resumed zombie hunting, while Jinyan complimented his ability to shoot flame zombies so efficiently. Zhang, in return, praised her awareness, control timing, and high-attribute godly equipment. Jinyan revealed that everything she used was a gift from her sister, tailored perfectly for a forbidden mage. Zhang internally admired the top-tier quality of her gear, and silently acknowledged how useful money could be. Jinyan then asked if he was hiding the visual effects of his equipment, suspecting he might also be using divine-level gear because of his high attack power. Zhang replied that it wasn't about the gear. He was a mythical class professional. Jinyan didn't believe him. She pointed out that no mythical class professionals had awakened this year, as no anomalies were recorded. Zhang deflected the topic, thinking to himself that his class hadn't awakened in the usual way. Then he confirmed that they had collected all the fire and ice zombie cores, and now only the toxic zombies remained. He suggested they head toward the toxic zombies' nest to finish the quest. Just then, a system-wide message from Yanyu Pavilion's general was broadcast, ordering all guild members to gather at Zombie City within 10 minutes. Anyone absent without reason would be kicked out. Seeing this, Jinyan expressed frustration over Chenjun's usual way of leading. No explanations, just threats. Zhang, unfamiliar with the name, commented on Chenjun's commanding presence. Jinyan clarified that Chenjun was the head of Yanyu Pavilion's Linhai City branch, and his position was arranged by her uncle Su Chen, a lifelong friend of Chenjun's father. Zhang agreed that since it was a guild operation, they should go. The scene then shifted to a wild battlefield where Qing's team and Yanyu Pavilion members were fighting a wild monster. Amid the chaos, both groups clashed with each other. One of the Yanyu Pavilion members shouted at Qing for interfering with their boss fight, claiming they found it first. Qing coldly responded, stating that power rules the world, and ordered his team to eliminate the opposition. Suddenly, a circular formation appeared in the sky, unleashing a fiery rain from above. Shocked by the unexpected attack, Qing demanded to know who was interfering in his business now. Zhang arrived on the battlefield, confronting him, hinting at payback for the last time Qing tried to steal their guild's boss. An hour earlier, the scene unfolds with members of the Yanyu Pavilion battling a massive monster. Despite their efforts, the creature proves overwhelmingly powerful. A soldier urgently informs the president that it's too difficult to attack recklessly and suggests letting the forbidden mage handle the boss. But the president remains unfazed, urging his troops to hold their formation, reminding them that Jinyan would arrive soon and that they just needed to wear the monster down. Soon, Zhang arrives with Jinyan, catching everyone's attention. Whispers spread among the guild members as they recognize her as the second young lady of the Su family, known for her cold demeanor and nicknamed the Ice Queen. Some comment on the recent rumors that her career restrictions were finally broken, and others speculate about the man beside her. While one guesses he might be the one who helped her break those limits, another doubts it, judging Zhang's ordinary appearance and frail look. Jinyan casually tells Zhang to ignore their gossip, insisting she isn't aloof. President Chen, seeing Jinyan, lights up with delight, but upon noticing Zhang, he questions why she's alone with him. Jinyan confidently shuts him down, stating she has the freedom to associate with anyone and he has no right to question her. The president quickly backtracks, claiming he's only concerned for her safety and wondering if Zhang has any hidden agenda. Jinyan assures him she knows who to trust and inquires about the urgent situation that required gathering everyone. President Chen explains that the Corpse City has reset and the Corpse King boss has appeared. Excited by the news, Jinyan turns to Zhang, noting how rare the reset is and emphasizing that defeating the boss would greatly boost the guild's prestige and power. Zhang agrees, reminding her they still have to complete the guild mission. However, President Chen immediately objects to Zhang joining them. When Zhang questions the decision, the president rudely dismisses him, declaring that beast tamers are weak, hard to develop, and lacking potential. The surrounding guild members echo his sentiments, mocking Zhang's lack of special gear and money, accusing him of being a drain on their resources. They suggest he shouldn't be allowed to participate to avoid dragging them down. Jinyan steps in firmly, asking if they even know who he is. Zhang, remaining calm, tells the president it's his decision, but Jinyan grabs Zhang's hand and declares that if he's not allowed to go, then she won't go either. Surprised by her reaction, President Chen tries to reassure her, claiming he's only thinking of Zhang's safety and afraid he might die in battle due to his weakness. He agrees to let Zhang come, but only as an observer, with strict orders not to interfere. Zhang must also bring his own resurrection scroll. Leading Jinyan away, President Chen urges her to hurry, reminding her that the Corpse King awaits her control to unleash their full force. As Jinyan leaves, she tells Zhang to wait for her and promises to return soon. Zhang reflects on the situation, noting that although the level 15 boss might be challenging, with Su Jinyan present and the numbers on their side, it's only a matter of time before they defeat it. He's curious to witness the strength of the province's 5th-ranked guild. Back in the present, the atmosphere shifts as everyone notices Zhang's presence. Qing, surprised, questions if Zhang has joined the Yanyu Pavilion. Yueju, visibly angry, confronts Zhang for refusing to join the Supreme Guild earlier, only to now serve another guild. She expresses regret for overestimating his worth back then. Without warning, Jinyan launches an attack on Yueju, declaring her stance clearer than ever. Qing then makes an unexpected offer to Zhang. He promises to triple whatever Yanyu Pavilion pays, offering him a vice president position and even the CEO role in his guild. Jinyan, shocked by the bold offer, criticizes Qing for trying to poach someone so openly. Zhang replies with composure, stating that integrity matters. Since he's already joined the Yanyu Pavilion, he won't switch guilds mid-tenure, but the future remains uncertain. Qing laughs, assuring Zhang that the doors of the Supreme Guild will always be open to him. Turning to his team, he abruptly commands a retreat. His comrades, confused, protest that they are on the verge of defeating the boss, but Qing brushes them off, claiming the bigger picture matters more than a single boss fight, and exits the scene. As things settle, Jinyan thanks Zhang for standing firm. He humbly replies that it was simply the right thing to do. Just then, the monster launches an attack at them. Both Zhang and Jinyan quickly dodge, narrowly avoiding the strike. Looking up at the monster, Zhang steadies himself and prepares for battle. The core king of the abyss looms large, and now, Zhang is ready to challenge it. Zhang unleashed a powerful skill attack on the boss monster, shocking everyone from the pavilion. As always, he commanded Jinyan next. She launched a fire-based attack toward the monster, and then Zhang raised his staff toward the sky, releasing a massive fire explosion that completely obliterated the creature in a single blow. After the boss monster was defeated, the surrounding players began discussing Zhang's identity and background. One of them expressed disbelief, noting that even though the boss was already weakened, it was still a formidable enemy. Yet Zhang took it down effortlessly on his own. Jinyan approached Zhang and thanked him, acknowledging that without his intervention, the Corpse King boss might have been stolen by the Supreme Guild. Zhang simply responded that he was part of the Misty Rain Guild, and helping was part of his duty. Hearing this, one player commented that this attitude reflected the spirit of a true master. The group then returned to Noting City. Upon seeing them, President Chen questioned their sudden return and whether they had secured the boss. A player quickly reported that the beast tamer who accompanied the second miss had driven away the Supreme Guild and even defeated the boss. President Chen, surprised, questioned how someone he saw as useless could possess such strength. Another member confirmed it, stating that Zhang was incredibly powerful, capable of killing enemies instantly with normal attacks. With someone like him, they believed the Misty Rain Guild's strength would grow significantly. Infuriated, President Chen accused Zhang of acting deliberately, waiting until they were almost dead to make a move. He warned that regardless of Zhang's identity, going against guild commands was unacceptable, and as guildmaster, he had the authority to expel him. In response, Zhang calmly twisted Chen's finger and reminded him that it was Chen himself who had ordered him not to interfere. A player then shouted at Zhang, furious that he had laid a hand on the guildmaster. But Zhang pointed out that the task was to defeat the boss, and he had completed it. Jinyan backed Zhang, telling President Chen that without him, they would have lost the boss and the entire team would have been wiped out. She emphasized that all credit for their survival went to Zhang and that he deserved proper recognition. She then turned to Zhang and suggested they continue working on the mission. Watching them leave, President Chen grew even more furious. He ordered one of his men to closely monitor Zhang and report any signs of weakness immediately. Later, Zhang and Jinyan arrived at a location filled with a foul stench that made Jinyan uncomfortable. Zhang explained that the poisonous zombie ahead was much more challenging than the fire and ice variants. Although it lacked elemental attributes, it possessed a deadly ability. Hearing this made Jinyan nervous, but Zhang assured her that timely healing would be enough to handle it. She nodded in agreement. Suddenly remembering something, Jinyan handed Zhang a reward for completing the guild task. Zhang accepted it with gratitude. Just then, zombies began to appear. Jinyan quickly prepared for battle, but Zhang stepped forward and eliminated one with ease using his skill. Impressed, Jinyan commented on Zhang's overwhelming attack power, noting how he could one-shot zombies every time. Zhang responded that with her precise control, collecting corpse cores became much easier. As they moved on, Zhang glanced back briefly. Meanwhile, back at the pavilion, one of President Chen's men reported that Zhang was currently working on the corpse core collection task with the second miss. According to their observations, the two were chatting, laughing, and seemed to be getting along well. This enraged President Chen. He was furious that ever since Jinyan awakened as a Calamity Mage 3 years ago, she hadn't even smiled at him once. Yet now, she was laughing with someone else. The man suggested they find a way to expel Zhang from the guild and separate him from the second miss. Just then, a system announcement interrupted their conversation, warning all professionals in Noting City about an impending corpse tide. The level 13 wave was set to invade in 30 minutes, and everyone was urged to prepare for defense. Seeing this as an opportunity, President Chen smiled. He vowed not to let Zhang off easily for openly defying him and trying to win over Jinyan. He claimed to have countless ways to make sure Zhang couldn't remain in the Misty Rain Guild. One of his subordinates warned that killing Zhang wouldn't be easy, as the other world had resurrection scrolls and PK-protected safe zones. Chen responded confidently. According to the second world's rules during a corpse tide invasion, safe zones lost their protection for professionals. All it would take was a single wave to eliminate Zhang for good. Zhang and Jinyan moved together through the battlefield, eliminating waves of zombies with sharp coordination. As they took down the last group, Jinyan felt excited, noting they were just a few corpse cores away from completing the mission. But time was running out. With only 30 minutes left before the zombie tide began, Zhang urged her to move quickly. Suddenly, a zombie lunged from behind and bit Zhang. Without hesitation, he spun around and smashed it with his staff. Jinyan, concerned, asked if he was all right. Zhang remained composed, remarking that such dangers were expected after walking the battlefield long enough. Now that all the corpse cores had been collected, he suggested they return to the city and submit the mission. Unseen by them, a mysterious figure hid behind a tree, quietly observing their movements. Moments later, the system congratulated them for completing the mission. Jinyan reached level 16, while Zhang advanced to level 17. Overjoyed, Jinyan shared that the mission had rewarded her with 2 pieces of 2-star level 15 equipment. Zhang simply mentioned his new level. Jinyan pointed out that if Zhang weren't a beast tamer who shared experience with his pet, he would have likely reached level 20 by now. She reminded him that the first zombie tide was approaching and asked if he planned to refine his equipment. Realizing he nearly forgot, Zhang reviewed his new gear, the zombie explosive armor and zombie explosive leg guards. With these upgrades and his level 15 silver-armored scorpion, he believed he was nearly invincible in the second world. Feeling confident, Zhang declared he was ready to face the zombie tide. Hearing this, Jinyan smiled. Just then, a call came through to Jinyan. She wondered who could be contacting her at such a critical time. The system notified her that her guild was summoning her, and her sister was involved too. Concerned that something serious had happened, Jinyan turned to Zhang and apologized, explaining that she couldn't join him for the zombie tide due to an urgent situation at home. Zhang assured her it was okay and urged her to leave quickly before the tide began, making escape impossible. Jinyan warned that even though it was just a level 13 zombie tide, its threat lay in the overwhelming number of zombies. Even ants in large numbers could take down an elephant. She advised him to be careful. Zhang acknowledged her concern with a smile. With that, Jinyan departed. The scene shifted to inside Nottingham City. The system announced the start of the zombie tide, urging all warriors to find shelter. All professionals in Nottingham City were informed that no one could leave the other world until the tide was repelled. The city's protective mechanism had been cancelled. Anyone who managed to survive after killing a significant number of zombies would be recognized for successfully resisting the tide. As the gates opened, waves of zombies surged forward, surrounding the warriors. Explosions erupted as chaos unfolded. Zhang stayed calm, reminding himself that the zombies would retreat after 1 hour. He needed only to kill 50 of them before he could rest. Suddenly, a message from his guild flashed before him. The Yanyu Pavilion was requesting his help. Smiling, Zhang responded internally, saying he was on his way. Arriving at a specific building, Zhang was spotted through a window by President Chen and another man. Chen asked if they were sure Zhang didn't have high defense. The man confirmed that Zhang had taken serious damage from a venomous zombie earlier, suggesting his points were focused on attack, not defense. He revealed that 10 level 12 archers had been bribed and were lying in ambush in a nearby alley. With Zhang's low defense, 1 round of concentrated fire would be enough to kill him multiple times. Grinning wickedly, President Chen declared that once Zhang Yue died and revived at the Resurrection Spring, his men would ensure Zhang didn't survive even a second longer. He claimed Jinyan as his own, vowing no one else would take her. As Zhang stepped into the ambush zone, arrows flew toward him from all directions. But just in time, he summoned his silver-armored scorpion, which shielded him from the deadly volley. Shocked, the 2 men stared in disbelief. Chen exclaimed that Zhang was supposed to be a weak beast tamer. How could he be this powerful? The system notified Zhang that he had been maliciously attacked by another professional and now had 10 minutes of counterattack time. Eliminating his attackers within this window would not increase his sin value. Zhang stepped forward, calm and focused, ready to strike back. Now, it was his turn. Zhang unleashed his fire skill, hurling an enemy far away with sheer force. His scorpion then crushed 2 more opponents under its powerful claws. With all enemies defeated, Zhang marched forward, his face filled with rage. Inside the building, President Chen grew anxious watching the scene unfold. Panicked, he questioned his subordinate, confused by Zhang's overwhelming strength. Just then, Zhang launched an attack at the building itself. Chen and his ally narrowly escaped, jumping out just in time. Zhang approached them calmly, exposing their failed plan. He revealed that ever since the Corpse King boss was eliminated, they had people tailing him, waiting for a chance to strike. He had deliberately pretended to have low defense, baiting them into underestimating him. Chen was stunned, realizing Zhang had exposed a fake weakness to lure him out. As Chen drew his bow, furious, he declared his intent to kill. But Zhang swiftly retaliated, launching a fierce magical attack using his staff. Seeing this, Chen's ally shouted accusations, calling Zhang a traitor who had attacked a guild leader, urging others to kill him. But Zhang showed no hesitation. He conjured a fireball and hurled it at the attacker, killing him instantly. The sight left Chen shocked, unable to believe that Zhang had just eliminated an elite-level temple assassin. Without responding, Zhang incinerated Chen as well, then coldly remarked that he was someone they couldn't afford to mess with. Suddenly, both Chen and his ally were thrown out of the virtual world. The system declared they had been killed by Necromancer Zero. Realizing the truth, the ally revealed Zhang's true identity. He was the one who had cleared the first world in just half a day. Questions arose about his class, as everyone had believed he was a beast tamer. Chen, furious and humiliated, cursed Zhang. He now considered him a lifelong enemy, realizing the danger hidden behind the mysterious identity. The scene then shifted to the Su Corporation Tower in the real world, where Jinyan expressed her dislike for Chen Jun to her uncle. Her uncle dismissed her concerns, insisting that love could grow over time. He presented her with a luxurious gift, a potion worth 5 million and a custom-made mage outfit costing 8 million, prepared by a master hired by the Chen family. He reminded her that his only son, Chen Jun, would inherit the entire Chen fortune, and marrying him would give her access to unlimited resources. Jinyan politely declined, stating that she would choose her own future. Her words angered another elder who shouted at her, reminding her of the resources the Su family had spent raising her and questioning how she could say such things. Her sister stepped in, defending her. She reminded everyone that Jinyan was not a tool for negotiation and had every right to make her own decisions. Then, turning to Jinyan, she reassured her, promising to support her pursuit of happiness no matter what. Suddenly, a phone call came through to both uncles. Shock spread as they heard the news. Chen Jun had been killed. Chen's father erupted in fury, accusing the Su Corporation of betrayal. He reminded them that he had allowed his son to work as a guild leader for their sake, and now they had paid him back with death. Trying to calm the situation, another elder insisted it was a misunderstanding. But Chen's father warned that if anything had happened to his son, there would be consequences. Shortly afterward, one of the Su elders turned to the sisters, furious. He demanded to know if the person they had recommended was responsible, questioning whether they understood the level of financial support the Chen family provided to the Su Corporation. Jinyan firmly responded, defending Zhang Yue. She insisted that he would never attack a guild member without reason, and that no one like him would act out of malice. But her uncle, unwilling to listen, ordered them to bring Zhang Yue immediately. He demanded that Zhang kneel before the Chen family and beg for forgiveness. Otherwise, Zhang would be cast out from the Yanyu Pavilion. Su then called Zhang and asked about the incident. Zhang responded with a smile, handing in his resignation. He declared that he was leaving the Yanyu Pavilion, effective immediately. Su called Zhang with urgency, assuring him that Chen Jun was the one who provoked him first. She pleaded with him not to act impulsively, promising that she would prove his innocence. But Zhang remained calm. He told her there was no need and asked her to let it go. He ended the call, thinking it was for the best to sever all ties with the Yanyu Pavilion. Zhang reflected on Chen Jun's petty nature and strong backing. If he retaliated now, Chen Jun would surely seek revenge. It was better to end things cleanly rather than let them drag on. The monthly medical expenses of 50,000 still hung over him. He had to earn it by selling materials. To access higher-level materials, he needed to finish the second world quickly and proceed to the third. 2 waves of the undead still had to be survived, and a dungeon needed to be cleared to complete the second world's tasks. The system window then displayed the second world's background. As the apocalypse arrived, the world plunged into disaster. Humanity, shrouded in dark clouds, began mutating one after another. The undead were preparing to siege the city. As a survivor in Nottingham, Zhang had to join others to defend the city. If the undead breached the walls, there would be no escape. Zhang considered the 3 dungeons. Among them, Deathland was the highest level and offered more advanced materials. At his current level of 17, he believed he could solo the level 20 Deathland without issue. But the level 15 dungeon still required attention. Just then, a group approached with hostile intent. They mocked Zhang, calling him the famous beast Tamir from the Yanyu Pavilion. Zhang told them to move aside. They refused, taunting him to strike if he had the courage. They called him a coward and accused him of being scared. Zhang sensed this confrontation had been staged with purpose. He asked them how much Chen Jun had paid. The man in the center confirmed his suspicions. Each of them had been paid 5,000 by the president, along with a revival scroll. If they were killed, Zhang would earn 5,000 more per person. Zhang chuckled at the irony. Killing them could earn him 10,000, but he knew better. Taking them out would be easy, but doing so would turn him into a red name. With sin points, he wouldn't be able to log off, enter safe zones, or activate boss challenges. He'd be stuck in the second world forever. Just then, Qing, the eldest young master of the Liu family, arrived with his followers. He offered double the amount. He declared that anyone who killed the president of the Yanyu Pavilion would be compensated with 50,000. Chen Jun's men were shocked by the offer. They demanded to know who Qing thought he was to make such a bold claim. One of Qing's men clarified his identity. He was the eldest young master of the Liu family from Lanhai City. The revelation stunned Chen Jun's followers. They immediately rallied behind Qing, declaring their loyalty and readiness to follow his orders. Then, without hesitation, they left the scene. Qing turned to Zhang, saying he had heard about Zhang being kicked out of the Yanyu Pavilion. Chen Jun was spreading the word everywhere, vowing that Zhang wouldn't be able to take a single step in the alternate world. Zhang dismissed it as big talk. Qing extended an offer. He criticized the Yanyu Pavilion for looking down on people and invited Zhang to join his side. He promised Zhang could set his own price and that individuals under his protection would be safe. Zhang remained non-committal, saying they could talk about it later. He wasn't interested at the moment. One of Liu Yao's men expressed frustration. Qing had stood up for Zhang multiple times and spent a great deal of money, yet Zhang hadn't even thanked him. Liu Yao brushed it off, saying he had suffered at the hands of the Yanyu Pavilion too. For now, they would let things go. He mocked the Yanyu Pavilion for their blindness, claiming it was no surprise they were only ranked 5th. Zhang pondered again. He had thought leaving the Yanyu Pavilion would allow him to avoid conflict with Chen Jun. But now, it was clear. Chen Jun had to be dealt with to prevent future troubles. Most players preferred better rewards, so they grouped up to farm the high-level dungeon Deathland. The lowest-level dungeon, Dark Nest, rarely drew attention. The system window displayed the entrance to the level 15 Dark Corpse Nest. Zhang approached the gate. A mage named Morn greeted him and handed him a green stone, acknowledging his arrival to challenge the dungeon. Zhang accepted the challenge without hesitation. He reflected on the dungeon tokens. The ordinary ones from the Dark Corpse Nest could be refined into an open token, which could then upgrade the dungeon. But the probability was extremely low. It would take multiple tries and heavy consumption of resources until a golden token appeared. Meanwhile, Chen Jun's own hired men were now trailing him. They had been swayed by Liu Yao's 50,000 offer and were preparing to kill Chen Jun. Chen Jun, frustrated and betrayed, lashed out at the situation. He had paid those men, yet they had turned against him. He suspected Zhang Yue to be behind it all. His anger flared as he tried to make sense of the betrayal. His companion reminded him of a critical limitation. The revival scrolls couldn't be used for the next 5 days. To ensure safety, Chen Jun needed to wait until the cooldown period ended before attempting to level up again. But Chen Jun's fury grew. He swore that if he didn't kill Zhang Yue, he wouldn't consider himself Chen Jun. At that moment, the system window appeared to all players in Nottingham. An announcement echoed across the world. A player named Chidden had used a golden token, upgrading the standard Dark Corpse Nest dungeon into a hidden dungeon. This upgraded dungeon would remain open for 2 hours. All players were invited to challenge it. A special benefit was granted to challengers. For the next 2 hours, any player who died inside the Dark Corpse Nest would be allowed 1 free revival. The call was clear. Gather your team, challenge the dungeon, and seize the rare equipment. Chen Jun's subordinate acknowledged the order instantly. Qing, recognizing the opportunity, saw the benefit clearly. For someone like him who couldn't use revival scrolls, the free revival chance was ideal. He immediately commanded all members of the Supreme Guild to gather and enter the Dark Corpse nest. Zhang analyzed the unfolding situation. One of his key tasks in the second world was to clear a dungeon. With the dungeon now upgraded to a hidden one, the rewards would increase significantly. The added bonus of free revival would be too tempting for others to ignore. To ensure his hunting plan went smoothly, Zhang knew he needed to act fast. But first, he had to take down the dungeon's gatekeeper. A formidable level 15 monster appeared before him, blocking his path. Zhang glared at the monstrous enemy, warning it to behave or he wouldn't hesitate to make it end up like its fallen subordinates. Suddenly, the system alert echoed. Numerous challengers had entered the Dark Corpse nest. Zhang realized the benefits of the secret realm, including free resurrection, weren't exclusive to Chen Jun. Civilians unable to afford resurrection scrolls would also seize this opportunity. He noticed the Supreme Guild had arrived and reminded himself that he had only one target and would try not to involve anyone else. He then activated the permission change function. The system confirmed his authority as the holder of the Golden Secret Order, granting him 3 changes in the Secret Realm's permissions. It prompted him to select the permissions he wanted to alter. At that moment, Zhang warned Jinyan not to stray too far from him. Jinyan, frustrated, thought about her original plan to find Zhang Yue. If not for the Elder's face, she wouldn't have cared about Zhang's survival. The system then broadcasted a new set of rules. Free resurrection had been disabled. Return scrolls were now unusable. Exiting the secret realm midway was forbidden. Killing white-name professionals wouldn't increase sin value, and the entrance had been sealed. A new task was issued. Kill 500 zombies counted as a team and defeat the realm's guardian, the Dark Zombie Lord. Chen was shocked, questioning the sanity of whoever made such extreme changes. One of his companions suggested that Zhang Yue might be behind this and could be luring them in deliberately. Chen dismissed the idea, stating the odds of refining a golden secret order were 1 in tens of thousands. He doubted Zhang had such fortune or massive amounts of alien energy to waste just to sabotage him. However, Jinyan observed that the permission changes clearly seemed targeted. Chen still refused to believe Zhang was responsible. He insisted it must be someone trying to monopolize the first clear rewards by limiting competition. Trying to boost morale, Chen reassured Jinyan that he would guide her through the realm. He mocked the new challenge, only 500 zombies, then called his team forward to charge in. Jinyan wasn't convinced. She silently hoped Chen would just worry about himself. Meanwhile, Chen urged his teammates to focus on defeating the boss, convinced the first clear rewards would go to Yanyu Pavilion. But before they could proceed, one of the members noticed someone ahead. Chen found it hard to believe, questioning who could have possibly arrived before them. Then he froze. Jinyan's expression lit up with joy. The figure sitting atop the slain monster was none other than Zhang Yue. He had been waiting. Seeing him, Jinyan cheerfully called out, relieved to finally find him. Chen, stunned, demanded to know if Zhang had activated the secret realm using the Golden Secret Order and questioned where he got it. Zhang climbed down from the monster, reminding Chen that he was the one who had tried to kill him. Now, the opportunity was here. Panic set in as Chen realized he had entered the realm depending on the free resurrection benefits, and now found himself trapped in Zhang's trap. If Zhang attacked, there was a real risk of death. Trying to intimidate him, Chen boasted about the Chen family's power in Linhai City. Even the Su family's chairman showed him respect. He questioned what Zhang could possibly have to fight back. Turning to Jinyan, Chen ordered her to use her binding ability to restrain Zhang. Even minimal damage could help them kill him. But Jinyan refused. She reminded Chen how he treated Zhang when he was once part of Yanyu Pavilion. If someone chose to defend themselves, he had no right to blame them. She would not assist in wrongdoing. Frustrated, Chen yelled at his other teammates, demanding they attack Zhang Yue. But fear gripped the group. They hesitated, pointing out Zhang had soloed the boss. Charging him now felt like walking into death. Chen, enraged, shouted at them not to be cowards. He reminded them they had resurrection and promised 5,000 as compensation if they died. He refused to believe Zhang could survive a sea of attacks. Tempted by the offer, one member mentioned he still had 1 resurrection left. Encouraged, the team raised their weapons and advanced toward Zhang. Watching them approach, Zhang smiled coldly. Compared to the level 9 beast-tide, the Yanyu Pavilion meant nothing. With a single powerful swing of his staff, he incinerated the attackers instantly. Zhang calmly reminded himself that killing white-named professionals here wouldn't raise sin value. He could act without hesitation. Seeing this, Chen panicked and quickly urged his remaining teammates to go after the boss while Zhang was distracted. They could still clear the realm. But before they could move, Zhang's scorpion companion blocked their path. Its presence alarmed the group. One warrior stepped forward and struck the scorpion with his sword, only for his blade to shatter. He was stunned. Despite being a level 14 warrior with full strength points, he couldn't even damage the beast. Zhang explained. The scorpion was a level 15 elite silver-armored variant, equipped with 2 pieces of Z-Star golden attribute armor. Of course, it couldn't be harmed easily. Before the group could recover, a barrage of arrows suddenly rained down on them. Confused and frightened, they cried out, unsure who was ambushing them. After all, they thought Yanyu Pavilion was the only team present in the secret realm. As chaos unfolded, the members of Yanyu Pavilion began fleeing in panic. At that moment, Qing stepped forward with fury, declaring his dominance and vowing to protect his people. His arrival didn't go unnoticed. Zhang immediately recognized him, thinking it was the same guy again. Chen, frustrated by Qing's interference, tried to defend his actions, claiming he wasn't targeting Qing's people. But Qing had something else in mind. Mocking Chen's love for using money to solve problems, he challenged him directly. Then, addressing everyone present, Qing made a shocking offer. 1 million to anyone who would kill Chen, their own president. This declaration stunned the crowd. Chen quickly tried to regain control, warning that any act against him would be seen as a rebellion against both the Chen and Su families. Before tensions could escalate further, the Dark Zombie Lord suddenly appeared. Zhang, observing the situation closely, realized something dangerous. In alternate worlds, when a boss-level monster's health drops too low, there's a rare chance it might go berserk. He noted that the earlier arrow attacks had continuously drained the Zombie Lord's health, pushing it into this deadly transformation. Just then, the system issued an alert, announcing that the Dark Zombie Lord had gone berserk and evolved into a level 17 3-star boss. Qing, shocked by the sudden development, admitted he never expected the boss to level up. The Berserk Zombie Lord launched an attack, and the system updated again, warning all adventurers that the dungeon's difficulty had increased. The exit of the Dark Corpse Nest was now forcibly opened, allowing everyone the chance to escape immediately. Amid the chaos, Chen readied his bow, determined to force answers from Zhang. He released an arrow that redirected the Zombie Lord's focus onto Qing. Just as the creature lunged at Qing, Zhang's silver-armored scorpion rushed in, taking the full brunt of the attack and shielding him. Zhang could see the impact of his upgrades, realizing how much health the scorpion lost from a single blow. Meanwhile, Chen retreated toward the portal, mocking everyone and declaring that they'd never be able to kill him. Not in this lifetime or the next. He laughed as he made his escape. Zhang shouted for him to stop but was left with a difficult choice. His teleportation ability could only be used once, and if he chased Chen now, Qing, who had no chance of resurrection, would surely die. Making a swift decision, Zhang cast an A-level ice spike spell at the Zombie Lord. Though it caused minimal damage, he used the moment to grab Qing's hand and push him safely aside, shielding him from another deadly strike. Zhang assessed the situation, knowing the powerful boss wouldn't go down easily. With the ice spike dealing barely over 100 damage, he realized he'd have to rely on his superior agility and tactical positioning to counterattack effectively. Watching Zhang hold his ground against the rampaging boss, Qing called for his allies to assist. But fear took over, and one of them responded that rushing in would only make them easy targets. As the fight intensified, Zhang remained focused. The Zombie Lord advanced swiftly, closing the distance with deadly speed. Just as the Zombie Lord's attack was about to land on Zhang, Jinyan arrived and launched a magical strike against the creature. Seizing the moment, Zhang followed up with his own attack using his staff. Watching their coordination, one of Qing's companions was left stunned, wondering if the two of them were truly soloing a 3-star boss on their own. Qing confirmed Jinyan's identity, recognizing her as the second young lady of the Su family who had recently awakened as a forbidden mage. He admired her epic class abilities, noting that every one of her skills included control effects. However, the one who truly impressed him was Zhang. Against a 3-star boss, most would have died countless times by now. Qing expressed his desire to recruit both Jinyan and Zhang into his supreme guild. His companion warned him not to forget about the other Su family member, implying she was equally unmanageable. At that moment, the Zombie Lord let out a fierce roar. Zhang assessed the situation, relieved to see the monster's health nearly depleted. Jinyan, realizing the opportunity, urged Zhang to strike the final blow. Zhang declared himself the secret realm seeker, confusing her briefly, but she quickly understood. With one final attack from her staff, Jinyan brought down the Zombie Lord in a single powerful hit. Immediately, everyone began leveling up. The system announced Jinyan as the first player to clear the 15-level secret realm, Dark Corpse Nest, rewarding her with a realm scroll. Cheers of celebration echoed through the group. Qing, overwhelmed with gratitude, rushed to hug Zhang, calling him a lifesaver. Zhang responded, acknowledging that without Qing's help, Chen Jun would have been dead long ago. Qing then offered Zhang $1 million as a reward. Zhang questioned whether Qing had anything more valuable than money. Qing quickly explained his dream of building the world's strongest guild by gathering top-tier players. He offered Zhang endless supplies of medicine, thanks to his family's vast pharmaceutical empire in Linhai City. Zhang remained hesitant. Qing pleaded to finish his pitch, mentioning their ties with the Xiao family, a renowned forging clan, and the Shangguan family, known for enchanting. Hearing the name Zhao family, Zhang showed interest. Qing added that his father was close friends with the clan's leader, and with the right materials, any equipment could be forged upon request. Zhang considered the value, knowing that forged gear often surpassed store-bought equipment in quality. Realizing Zhang wasn't ready to join the guild yet, Qing proposed they at least become friends. That way, he could still help Zhang acquire gear through his connections. Zhang agreed, and with that, he and Jinyan left together. Elsewhere, members of the Yanyu Pavilion were discussing Su Yan. They confirmed her identity as the second young lady of the Su family and were impressed by her epic class powers. Chen proudly reminded them that Su Yan was a key member of their pavilion, showcasing their strength through her performance. A companion sitting beside Chen pointed out that since Su Yan had defeated the boss, Zhang Yue likely survived as well. Chen realized he had underestimated Zhang, who had cleverly used the secret realm as a trap. Swearing vengeance, Chen vowed not to consider himself human if he didn't kill Zhang Yue. His companion hesitated, pointing out Zhang's overwhelming strength and his connection to the Supreme Guild. Chen acknowledged that while they couldn't take Zhang down themselves, others might. He revealed that last year several veteran players had gotten stuck in the Third World, all of them over level 30. He was confident they wouldn't ignore the Chen family's reputation. Chen declared with venomous certainty that if Zhang survived the Third World, he'd eat shit upside down. Back in the city, Jinyan approached Zhang and asked whether, because of Chen Jun's behavior, he now considered her an enemy too. Zhang clarified that blame fell on individuals, not groups. Chen Jun alone was his enemy. However, if the Yanyu Pavilion chose to support Chen Jun, he wouldn't hesitate to take on more enemies. Jinyan assured him that she shared his hatred for Chen Jun and promised not to help him. She also reminded Zhang that he had let her land the final hit on the boss, meaning the loot rightfully belonged to him. Zhang acknowledged that refining the newly obtained equipment and skill books would significantly boost his damage and health stats. Suddenly, the system broadcasted an urgent message. A zombie tide was expected to invade the city within 30 minutes. The current wave was at level 15, and all players were instructed to prepare for defense. Realizing the threat, Jinyan quickly noted the incoming zombie tide. Zhang knew that surviving this wave would complete the world quest and finally allow him to advance into the Third World. Jinyan urged him to hurry back and get ready. Just then, Yueju appeared and approached Zhang with remorse in her eyes, expressing deep regret and asking if he could forgive her. Zhang asked Yueju what she meant. With a hint of sadness, Yueju revealed that Qing no longer wanted her. Irritated by her sudden return, Jinyan snapped, questioning why she came to Zhang now and what she took him for. Yueju admitted that she was once bothered by Zhang's lack of money, but reminded them that every girl dreams of a wealthy life. Now that Zhang had a promising future, she believed they could reunite without arguments, and she could make him happy. Jinyan called her shameless, but before the conversation could escalate further, a voice interrupted. Yueju warned that a zombie tide was approaching, and there was no time left to prepare. Jinyan, confident from her post-realm adjustments, declared herself ready to face them. Zhang, however, firmly rejected Yueju. He reminded her of her own words about his bright future and questioned why he would ever want someone like her again. He told her to leave. Shocked, Yueju noted how much he had changed and how he would have never spoken to her that way before. Before any of them could respond, the zombies arrived. Jinyan fought back using the power of her staff, but the numbers overwhelmed her. She struggled to maintain control. Seeing the danger, Zhang sent his scorpion to assist Jinyan while preparing a fireball spell. As he turned, he saw zombies grabbing Yueju. Jinyan immediately moved to help, but Zhang stopped her, warning that she wouldn't be able to save anyone and would only get herself killed. Hearing that, Yueju froze in disbelief. Zhang questioned whether the straight symbol meant death, suspecting something grim. Jinyan revealed that Yueju had already used up all her revivals. More zombies swarmed the area, leaving no time to grieve. Zhang called for focus, reminding them they had to deal with the zombie tide first. Though his mind briefly drifted to Yueju, he quickly returned to the task at hand. Soon, the battlefield was overwhelmed with zombies, and warriors were seen fighting them fiercely. Later, Zhang and Jinyan took cover. Jinyan observed that it was already the third wave and wondered why it hadn't ended yet. Zhang reassured her, explaining that there were usually no more than 3 waves a day, and they were nearing the end. All they needed was to wait a bit longer for the tide to recede. Checking his system window, Zhang reviewed his progress. The previous secret realm had earned him 400,000 points. If he wanted early access to the Third World, he needed to clear another secret realm soon. Determined, Zhang opened a portal and told Jinyan that the zombie tide would end soon. He asked her to recover her health in the meantime. Jinyan asked what he planned to do next. Zhang replied that he had other matters to handle. He then entered a zombie hospital, preparing to clear it before the tide ended. Inside, he summoned his scorpion, eager for the experience ahead. Later, after clearing all the zombies in the hospital, Zhang held up some coins to his scorpion, telling it these would help it evolve into a mythical level creature. Checking his system, he saw that he had gained a new skill and equipment. His attack power and health had increased significantly. With the zombie tide nearly over, he began preparing to clear the second world. Zhang had now acquired the super lightning spell skill and a title, Demon Slayer Envoy. Just then, a system mail arrived. Jinyan informed him that the zombie tide had ended and asked if they should fight the second world boss together. Qing also sent a message requesting help. According to the strategy guide, the boss was level 20 with 3 stars, and Qing couldn't handle it alone. Zhang weighed his options. With a forbidden mage assisting him, their chances looked promising. Qing had helped him a few times before, so supporting him now felt right. Zhang responded, setting a meeting point, 15 minutes later at the entrance of the zombie royal palace. Jinyan turned to Qing, questioning the large group he brought along. In response, Qing justified his decision, admitting that despite Jinyan's immense strength, she was still the ultimate boss of the second world, and extra healers might come in handy. Zhang agreed with a calm nod, simply content if everyone else was. Just then, the system announced that the world task was completed, and the teleportation portal to the second world boss dungeon could now be activated. Defeating the boss would allow them to advance to the third world. The system detected a multi-person team and asked if they wanted to enter the dungeon as a group. Without hesitation, Zhang summoned a small fireball and used it to tap the system's yes button. A glowing portal opened before them, and the system confirmed that the second world boss dungeon was now active. Zhang gave the signal to move forward. Qing, rallying his team, reminded them to stay close to their strongest member. Together, the group entered the dungeon, where the massive level 20 zombie king awaited. Qing's eyes widened at the sight, overwhelmed by the boss's enormous size. The other teammates voiced their concern, recalling how they were nearly wiped out by a level 17 boss in the previous secret realm. Facing a level 20 boss now felt daunting. Zhang immediately ordered them to stay back, warning that a single hit from the boss could prove fatal. Jinyan acknowledged the warning. Zhang then began summoning his scorpion, mentally noting that the experience and pet eggs he had gained from the secret realm and zombie tide had significantly reduced the power gap between his silver-armored scorpion and the boss. The zombie king noticed their presence and taunted them, questioning if they too wanted to taste death. Without hesitation, the scorpion charged forward and attacked the boss. Zhang followed up with a massive fireball, thinking how much his new equipment had improved his attack power. The boss now felt only slightly stronger than a regular monster. Angered, the zombie king retaliated with a powerful strike against the scorpion and unleashed a deadly skill. From beneath the ground, monstrous tentacles erupted. The scorpion stood firm, blocking the path, but the zombie king struck it hard with his hand, sending it flying back. Seeing this, Qing urgently called his team to heal the scorpion, and everyone quickly joined in to restore its health. Meanwhile, the zombie king advanced toward Zhang, ready to strike. But before it could reach him, the scorpion lunged forward again, attacking fiercely. Jinyan added her magic into the fight, casting spells from behind. The boss roared in anger, insulted by what it called lowly human magic. Jinyan, struggling to hold on, called out to Zhang for backup. Without wasting a second, Zhang raised his staff and activated his skills, stating that it wasn't them who were weak, but the boss itself. With a burst of power, Zhang launched a devastating attack, stunning everyone, especially Qing, who couldn't believe a level 20 3-star boss had just lost a quarter of its health in a single strike. Zhang's damage output was truly off the charts. Channeling his final burst of strength, Zhang declared it was time to end this. A bolt of lightning crashed down from the sky, striking the zombie king with immense force. The boss collapsed to the ground, defeated. Qing and Jinyan couldn't contain their joy at the victory, but before they could celebrate further, the system issued a warning. Defeating the second world boss had triggered its passive ability, destruction of heaven and earth. Just as the battle seemed over, lava erupted from the ground beneath them. The zombie king, filled with rage, declared his intent to drag everyone to hell with him. Panic swept through the team. Qing, gripped by fear, clutched Zhang's leg and began crying, overwhelmed by the fact that he had no resurrection scrolls left. The thought of permanent death paralyzed him. Zhang glanced toward the distant exit gate, realizing it was too far and there wasn't enough time to reach it. His eyes landed on his silver-armored scorpion, and without hesitation, he grabbed Qing and Jinyan, throwing them toward the beast while ordering it to hurl them with all its strength toward the exit. The scorpion caught both of them midair and launched them safely across the battlefield. They landed near the portal, unharmed. Qing, still shaken, expressed disbelief that he survived. But Jinyan quickly pointed out that Zhang hadn't made it through yet and the portal wouldn't remain open for long. Without wasting a moment, the scorpion turned back and picked up Zhang. Responding swiftly, Zhang commanded the scorpion to throw him toward the gate, assuring it that he would summon it back just after. The scorpion obeyed, launching Zhang through the air. As he neared the gate, a column of lava surged up from the ground, blocking his path. In a desperate move, Zhang summoned his staff and released a burst of fire to clear the way. On the other side, Qing and Jinyan stood frozen with worry. But then, right behind them, Zhang landed hard on the ground. Their concern turned to joy upon seeing him safe. Jinyan asked if he was all right, and Zhang assured her he was fine, though the explosion's aftershock had been intense. The system congratulated them for defeating the boss monster. Qing, overjoyed, thanked Zhang profusely, offering a reward of 1,000,000 in gratitude. Zhang acknowledged the gesture, but stated he needed rest now that the task was complete. Jinyan suddenly spoke up, revealing that Chen Jun had left the Yanyu pavilion. Based on what she knew of him, he would undoubtedly seek revenge against Zhang. Zhang acknowledged the warning with calm resolve. Qing, now more impressed than ever, complimented Jinyan's precise control during battle. He proposed that, as the first batch of new professionals to clear the second world, they should team up to level up together in the third world. But Jinyan politely declined. Qing accepted her decision, hoping they'd get to work together again someday. Jinyan reflected on the unexpected friendship that had formed between them, despite their rocky beginning. She noted how strange and beautiful it was that bonds could form even between those who once didn't get along. The scene then shifted to the third world, marked as the arrival of the Grim Reaper. From beneath the earth, Ching and his teammates emerged into a chilling new zone, surrounded by grave pits. One of his companions nervously commented on how terrifying the so-called safe zone was. Rising to the challenge, Ching reminded his group that they were the first new professionals to reach the third world. He urged them to level up quickly and aim to become the top guild in Zhejiang province. Suddenly, a stranger stepped forward and placed his foot on Qing's hand. Qing, infuriated by the disrespect, challenged the man. The stranger calmly asked if someone named Zhang Yue was with them and demanded they hand him over. Qing, unimpressed, refused. He questioned the man's audacity to make such a demand and insisted he had too much pride to obey. One of Qing's teammates leaned in, whispering that the group seemed like experienced professionals who had remained in the third world. He asked if he should call Zhang Yue for support. But Qing stood firm. Whether they were veterans or not didn't matter. He would never betray his brothers. In response, the stranger drew his sword, ready to escalate things, warning them not to blame him for what would happen next. The enemy stabbed his sword into Qing, but to his shock, it had no effect. Realizing something was off, he muttered in disbelief. Qing, just as surprised, was relieved that the newbie protection rule, with its 10-level difference limit, was still active. His teammate quickly urged them to use this opportunity to escape. But the enemy wasn't planning to let them off that easily. As Qing and his team tried to flee, more of the enemy's men appeared and started attacking Qing's allies. The enemy leader knew he couldn't kill Qing himself due to the protection rule, but others certainly could. One of Qing's allies recognized the attackers as a mercenary group known for killing players for money. The enemy leader then issued a final threat, demanding Zhang Yue be brought to him, or everyone would die. Meanwhile, in the real world, Zhang received a call from the hospital confirming that the medical fees had been received and promising proper care for his younger brother. Grateful, Zhang thanked them. While checking Qing's messages, he realized Qing was extremely generous. With the million-plus yuan he had just received, Zhang no longer had to worry about medical bills. Suddenly, a panicked call came in from one of Qing's allies. They were under attack, and their guild leader was on the verge of death. Without hesitation, Zhang took action. Inside the third world, one of the enemy scouts noticed someone approaching. It was Zhang Yue. As he stepped forward, he demanded that they let Qing go. The enemy leader confirmed Zhang's identity and revealed that someone had paid for his assassination. Either Zhang or his brother would have to die. Qing desperately tried to negotiate, offering each mercenary 1,000,000 yuan. He claimed his father was the richest man in Linhai City and pleaded for mercy. One of the attackers hesitated, tempted by the offer, but their leader shouted in rage. The client's background was powerful, far too risky to cross. Declaring Zhang to be just a mere beast tamer, he ordered his men to kill him. One mercenary charged at Zhang with a sword, but Zhang remained unfazed. He launched a surprise ice attack from above, freezing the attacker solid. Then, using his staff's fire ability, he unleashed another devastating blow. The enemy leader was stunned. A single hit had taken out a level 25 warrior. Trying to catch Zhang off guard, the leader appeared behind him and slashed with his sword. Although the blow connected, Zhang managed to survive, but the leader wasn't finished. He prepared to strike again, closing in with the speed and precision of a level 30 assassin. Zhang realized the enemy's agility was too high. At this distance, dodging was impossible. In a flash, Zhang summoned his scorpion. Using it as a living shield, he blocked the fatal strike. The scorpion disappeared immediately after absorbing the blow. Just as the enemy was about to land another hit, Jinyan arrived in time and used her magical power to interrupt the attack. Seizing the moment, Zhang activated his staff. Flames surged from it as he prepared his counterattack. The enemy's eyes widened in disbelief. With a powerful fire spell, Zhang burned the assassin down. Even as he burned, the enemy couldn't believe what had happened. A mere level 20 beast tamer had just dealt devastating damage, and he, a fully gold-equipped level 30 assassin, could do nothing to stop it. Zhang acknowledged Jinyan's timely appearances, silently grateful for the many times she had stepped in during his moments of crisis. Jinyan dismissed the thanks, sensing a deeper bond of fate connecting their paths. In truth, she had been closely monitoring Zhang Yue's online activity, carefully planning this opportunity in advance. Qing turned to Zhang and apologized, admitting everything had been to save him. But Zhang reassured him. It was never about Qing. Their enemies had always been after him. Jinyan speculated that Chen Jun was behind the attacks. His recent behavior had been suspicious, and she had long believed he was plotting something. They all turned to Zhang Yue, seeking answers. Who were these people? Qing immediately identified them. They belonged to the Assassin Mercenary Group. The group was small, but deadly, established over a decade ago. Jinyan added that though there were more than a dozen members, none had surpassed level 30. This raised questions. How could assassins remain at such low levels for 10 years? Zhang explained the loophole. Reaching level 30 required a second job advancement. By refusing the advancement, the group had exploited a bug that allowed them to stay under the radar, yet dangerous. One of Qing's companions warned that these bandits were professionals, long lurking in the third world. Over the years, they had accumulated immense strength, their attributes sharpened to deadly precision. But Qing was confused. If robbery was their motive, why didn't they let him go when he offered a high price? Zhang considered another possibility. It wasn't about money. Someone was coercing them. Though they failed this time, they would return, stronger and more prepared. Panic began to set in. Qing feared that the battlefield was too vast. Fending off repeated attacks would be impossible. But Zhang reminded him of a connection he once mentioned. Qing's family's ties with the legendary crafting clan, the Xiao family. Could they forge a piece of equipment? Qing asked what kind. Zhang placed a hand on his shoulder. Any equipment under level 20 would do, but it must possess one specific trait, the heart of the demon effect. And it had to be ready as soon as possible. Qing agreed but wondered why such equipment was needed. Zhang's answer was clear. Their survival in the third world depended on it. Elsewhere, deep within the enemy stronghold, the leader of the assassin mercenary group, Xu Pei, furiously reprimanded Chen Jun. A level 50 assassin had lost to a level 20 beast tamer. Chen Jun defended himself, blaming carelessness and a trap. He vowed to handle things personally. Xu Pei warned him. There would be consequences if he failed again. Meanwhile, Zhang examined the newly crafted equipment radiating with immense power. But he knew the truth. At his current level, taking on the entire assassin group alone would be suicide. Then, the system window appeared, revealing the devastation caused by Death Caesar. Once a thriving capital, the world had become a graveyard. Survivors had retreated into tombs, their only chance of survival resting on a defense value above 100. Anything less meant certain death. Now, only 2 world quests offered a path forward. The first demanded raising tomb defense from 300 to 2,000. Progress remained at 300. The second required completing a task rated no lower than 300. Progress was still 0. Completing both would unlock the third world's boss challenge. Defeating the boss would grant access to the fourth world and possibly a chance to rebuild. Zhang reflected on Death Caesar's relentless routine. Every night at 12 o'clock, the third world came under attack for 10 minutes. If a professional failed to return to their tomb, or if their tomb's defense dropped to 0, death was instant. Even the assassins retreated during these moments. This was the only chance to act. He just needed to wait for Qing. Soon, a message arrived. Qing had secured the equipment. He arrived in person, handing it over. Zhang hadn't expected it so quickly, but Qing explained that his father was close friends with the head of the Xiao family, and Zhang's request had truly been worthy of the legendary craftsman. The result had been forged in record time. The system revealed the weapon's properties. A staff forged from the essence of a demon, tempered in black water. Qing asked if it was time to fight. Some guild members had seen the assassins gathering outside their Supreme Guild's safe zone, but Zhang had other plans. Suddenly, a system alert appeared. The Holy Light tomb was about to come under attack. Death Caesar would arrive in 5 minutes. All professionals were ordered to retreat. Qing urgently called his companions to return to their tombs. Death was almost here. At the same time, Chen Jun arrived with his assassins. Their dark presence spread fear, but Zhang remained calm. This was a safe zone. They wouldn't attack here. Chen Jun, filled with rage, threatened Zhang. Once he stepped outside, there would be no mercy. Zhang walked far from the crowd and told Qing to hurry into the tomb. Qing hesitated. Death was coming. If Zhang left now, it would be suicide. But Zhang instructed him not to leave the Holy Light tomb until his return. If necessary, he was to retreat to the second world and grow stronger. Qing asked about his plan. Zhang didn't answer. Before him, a glowing blue portal opened. From its depths, a monstrous red creature emerged, fierce, dangerous, and unlike anything they had seen before. As Zhang stood watchfully, his eyes caught sight of a terrified man trembling nearby. Zhang immediately understood. He had found something. The frightened man shouted in panic, warning that Death Caesar was returning once again to desecrate the Holy Light Cemetery. Zhang approached and asked if he needed help. The man pointed toward a horde of monsters and, recognizing Zhang as an adventurer, pleaded for aid. He requested Zhang to head to the City of Death, located east of the Holy Light Cemetery, and eliminate the skeleton army stationed there. A sudden system window popped up, displaying a cryptic message. "I don't know when Forkel's under the commons of Darren." The man continued with urgency. As long as the skeleton army was destroyed, the power of Death Caesar, the ruler of death, would surely weaken. Zhang affirmed the mission. They couldn't allow someone like Caesar to oppress them any longer. The man gave Zhang a thumbs up, wishing him success, and awaiting his return with good news. A system window displayed the mission's progress, description, and rewards. Zhang analyzed the mission. Though it was categorized as a normal task, its difficulty exceeded even king-level bounty missions from the Second World's undead catastrophe. During Death Caesar's invasion, leaving the cemetery often meant certain death. Suddenly, Death Caesar launched an attack on Zhang's position. A system notification appeared. Your grave has been attacked by Death Caesar, losing 91 defense points. The cemetery's remaining defense value, 121 points. Zhang felt a surge of relief. He had asked Qing to enhance his staff earlier. The heart of the demon enchantment was proving perfect for resisting Kaisar's deadly power. Death Kaisar's signature skill was instant death. No matter one's health, anyone within his attack range would perish. But the heart of the demon's enhancement granted immunity to such fatal abilities. Zhang recalled discovering this vital secret in his previous life while exploring the fourth world. Back then, such equipment could only be crafted by a master artisan in the third world. Fortunately, due to Liu Yao's connection with a legendary craftsman, Zhang had received better gear this time, and in much less time. He reassured himself. He'd return soon. Meanwhile, Qing trembled with fear. Death Kaisar's overwhelming strength had left him terrified. One of his companions reminded him that this was only the beginning. If they couldn't venture out to level up, and the cemetery's defense points dropped to 0, they would all be doomed. At that moment, Chen appeared, taunting Qing. He mocked him for remaining in the safe zone, asking if he was too scared to leave and risk never returning to the third world. One of Chen's men encouraged seizing this opportunity to level up. But Chen turned to his men with a cold order. His true mission was to capture Zhang Yue. He warned that he would protect Qing, but if anyone dared to touch a single hair on Qiji's head, he wouldn't let them live. Chen issued another chilling warning. Whether Qing's daughter survived depended on his behavior. He advised Qing to hand over Zhang Yue. Otherwise, even if they didn't kill him, he wouldn't live through the night. With those parting words, Chen departed. Fuming with anger, Qing muttered that Chen looked down on others simply because of his high rank. Just then, Jinyan arrived in a hurry, asking Qing where Zhang Yue was. She had something important to tell him. Qing responded bitterly, saying Zhang had taken the equipment given by their boss and fled. Jinyan couldn't believe it. One of Qing's subordinates spoke up, saying they had suspected Zhang only wanted the equipment to escape the assassin group. Another voiced resentment. Zhang had left them behind to face death alone in the Holy Light Cemetery. Qing scolded them for speaking nonsense. Zhang wasn't that kind of person. Even so, another subordinate questioned how Qing could still trust him. Suddenly, Qing received a message from Zhang. Zhang was asking him for a favor. Qing's face lit up with joy. He turned to the others, proudly showing them the message. Zhang hadn't abandoned him. He needed his help. He was right about him all along. Jinyan clenched her fists in frustration. Zhang Yue was such a fool for reaching out to Qing. She believed she could offer him far more help. She couldn't let him continue thinking Qing was the better choice. He had to see she was stronger. Qing then relayed vital information to Zhang. Chen Jun had entered the third world with around 10 high-level assassin mercenaries as personal guards. Additionally, Chen was using the daughter of a high-ranking official as a hostage to force the mercenaries into obedience. Zhang understood the situation. Qing then asked Zhang for his location. If Zhang truly trusted him, he should tell him. Zhang stated that he was currently in the City of Death. Meanwhile, Jinyan also ventured into the City of Death. She assessed the environment. Based on the data, most monsters here ranged from level 25 to 28. At their current level, it would be extremely difficult to handle them. Suddenly, a hand burst out from beneath the ground. It was a skeleton warrior. It groaned, claiming it had been scared to death. Without warning, it launched an ice cone technique toward Jinyan. But just before the strike landed, Zhang appeared, grabbing her in time. With his newly enhanced equipment, he swung his bar against the skeleton warrior, delivering a powerful counterattack. Jinyan blushed inwardly, her heart fluttering. He had returned to save her again. He truly cared for her. A system window identified the creature. It was a level 25 monster with skills like heavy slash and charge, a human who died at the hands of Death Kaisar. After its flesh and blood were corroded, it transformed into a skeleton and now sleeps underground. When disturbed, it rises again. Chen Jun's companion questioned why their boss was personally escorting Chen Jun for an upgrade when their mission was simply to kill Zhang Yue. But Chen Jun responded without hesitation, stating that whether it was killing or upgrading, they only followed the sponsor's orders. As long as the sponsor paid, they would obey. And once Zhang Yue dared to appear, Chen Jun swore to take revenge and ensure Zhang Yue had no place left to be buried. At that moment, Chen Jun noticed someone hiding and eavesdropping nearby. Spotting the intruder, he called him out with fury. But before he could act, the person dashed away. Watching him flee, Chen Jun cursed him as a coward and declared that such a worthless man deserved to die without even a tomb. Meanwhile, the fleeing man reached Qing and reported back. Qing asked if he'd been recognized, to which the man confirmed he hadn't. He shared that the group had been cursing Zhang Yue, wishing for his death inside the graveyard. Qing shook his hand and assured him that the money would soon be transferred to his account. He reminded him that no one should mention anything about this. The man thanked him and left. Another subordinate questioned Qing's decision to help Zhang Yue create an illusion of still being in the graveyard. He argued that informing the assassin group might lift the siege on the Supreme Guild, but Qing replied that Zhang Yue had asked them to wait in the safe zone. Still, the subordinate doubted Zhang Yue's ability, pointing out that he was alone and no match for the many high-level professionals in the assassin mercenary group. But Qing stood firm, trusting his judgment and believing that Zhang Yue was worth it. Elsewhere, Jinyan expressed her gratitude to Zhang Yue and asked if he had leveled up again. Zhang replied that he had, but only by one level, which felt too slow. Jinyan found this surprising since she had only been gone for a day or two. At the same time, Qing reflected on the dire situation. The grave defense could withstand only 3 more attacks from Death God Caesar. That meant within 2 nights, everyone in the Sacred Light graveyard would either be killed by the Assassin Guild or by Caesar. Zhang then asked Jinyan if she had healing potions. She confirmed and asked how many he needed. He responded that time was short and he needed as many as possible, offering to pay 120% of the market price. Jinyan took the potions from her backpack and handed them over, then asked if he planned to quickly level up and counterattack the assassin mercenary group. Zhang confirmed it. He needed to grow strong enough to surpass them within 3 days. Jinyan warned that survival in another world had its limits, and asked if he had confidence with such little time. Zhang simply stated that he had to do it. Jinyan then offered to help him. Zhang warned her that the upcoming monsters were high-level and very dangerous. But Jinyan assured him she had received a new equipment set from her sister, significantly boosting her attack and defense. Zhang, surprised by the 400,000 value, noted the extravagant nature of the gear. He agreed and said they should reassess their combat strategy. With her 400,000 worth support, Zhang knew his efficiency would improve, but he needed to ensure her safety first. Jinyan agreed. Soon, the system informed them about a new mission involving a battle against Death God Caesar. Zhang assessed the situation. Given the pace, upgrading both gear and levels within 3 days would be difficult. However, he recalled a level 25 secret realm called Skeleton Island in the Third World. Like the hidden realm in the Second World, this one could also be upgraded. If the reward was a secret realm scroll, completing the mission would almost be enough. Jinyan then asked if he could help her take on that secret realm. Zhang agreed. Together, Zhang and Jinyan entered the portal and were greeted by an NPC mage named Lori. Lori welcomed them and asked if they had come to help an old man seal off the monster-infested area. Zhang confirmed and Lori laughed, handing him an item while warning him not to die recklessly. Zhang accepted the item, and the system informed him about its description. The holder of the secret order would gain 10 refinement opportunities for every skeleton killed. Each refinement consumed 20 energy points and carried a chance to create a golden secret order. The item was auto-bound and couldn't be traded or dropped. Jinyan noticed Zhang's reaction and asked if the task was difficult. Zhang explained that refining the secret order into a golden one required luck. Jinyan commented that while killing monsters was fine, the refinement rate was low and energy consumption was high, something most players couldn't afford. But Zhang smiled and thought to himself that energy was the one thing he had in abundance. Without wasting time, Zhang and Jinyan began slaying skeleton monsters together. After a series of kills, Zhang looked at the item and noticed it hadn't changed yet. Still, he told himself to keep going and not give up. Eventually, the secret order transformed into a golden secret order, bringing a wave of joy to Zhang as he held it in triumph. Zhang revealed that the chances of refining the golden secret order were less than 1 in 10,000, yet they had managed to succeed. Jinyan pointed out that Zhang's abundant energy reserves had made this possible, allowing repeated attempts until it worked. As Zhang checked the time, he realized that the Death God would soon arrive. Fortunately, they had built up enough defense value, so a single attack on the safe zone wouldn't pose a serious threat. However, since the golden secret order only lasted 2 hours, they decided to enter the secret realm first, to avoid direct conflict with Death God Caesar. Soon, the system confirmed that certain equipment only appeared in high-level dungeons. With this new gear, their odds against the Assassin Mercenary Corps would improve. Zhang had successfully used the Golden Secret Order to upgrade Skull Island's secret realm into a hidden one. As a reward, he received 5 coins, a self-select Necromancer equipment box, and unlocked a mission. The objectives were to kill 40 skeleton warriors and defeat the realm's guardian, Skeleton General Hera. Jinyan, confused by the sudden development, asked what was happening. Zhang, sensing danger, warned her to be ready. Right then, Skeleton General Hera appeared, a powerful level 26 enemy. Hera summoned his undead army, commanding them to obey and destroy the intruders. Instantly, the skeleton soldiers charged at Zhang and Jinyan. Observing the situation, Zhang realized they were up against a Lord-level skeleton general. It would be difficult to win directly, so he suggested luring the skeleton warrior squad away and eliminating them one at a time. The two began running as the soldiers pursued them. While fleeing, Jinyan asked how much longer they needed to run. Zhang then inquired about how many enemies she could control at full power. She admitted she had never tested her limits before. Zhang gathered energy in his staff, planning to distract the enemies. He instructed Jinyan to find a hidden spot and control as many skeletons as she could, which would help him take them down faster. Zhang launched a fireball at the soldiers, but it had no effect. He called out to Jinyan to get ready. Responding immediately, she used her magical powers to restrain the enemies, though it was clear she couldn't hold them for long. Taking advantage of the moment, Zhang unleashed both fire and ice abilities at once, wiping out the restrained soldiers. Watching this, General Hera became furious. He vowed to use their blood as punishment for his fallen soldiers. Zhang analyzed Hera's stats and realized they were incredibly strong. With his skills still on cooldown, any direct hit could ruin their entire run. Meanwhile, Jinyan felt drained. The multi-control spell had consumed too much of her energy. As General Hera attacked Zhang with his spear, Jinyan supported him using her magic. Zhang narrowly dodged the spear and activated his staff. At close range, he declared Hera's spear nearly useless. Both Zhang and Jinyan launched a combined attack. Their powers struck Hera directly, knocking him to the ground. Exhausted, Zhang admitted he had used too much energy earlier but had tried his best not to kill the enemy. Jinyan reassured him, saying he had done well. Zhang then asked her for a favor. Before she could respond, General Hera began to rise again. Outside the portal, a man informed Boss Chen that his resurrection scroll was still on cooldown. He asked why Boss Chen insisted on waiting outside. Boss Chen explained that the secret realm had been activated and new rules now blocked outsiders from entering. He was determined to find out who had dared to steal the first clear rewards. Chen's bodyguard tried to say something, but Boss Chen silenced him, frustrated by the group's inaction. Just then, Jinyan emerged from the portal. The system congratulated her for clearing the secret realm. Boss Chen was shocked to see her and asked if she had activated the hidden secret realm of Skull Island. Jinyan confirmed it. Boss Chen questioned why she had closed the entrance, arguing that they could have helped her. Jinyan confidently replied that she didn't need help. Since it was her secret realm, she wanted to claim the rewards herself. She told them to step aside as she was leaving. Boss Chen, surprisingly calm, agreed as long as she was satisfied. However, Chen's bodyguard interrupted, shouting that according to the rules of Skull Island's secret realm, the one who activates and clears the hidden secret realm first cannot receive the bounty scroll reward. He implied that Jinyan hadn't entered the realm alone. Chen Jun's bodyguard questioned Jinyan, demanding to know where her partner was. Calmly, Jinyan clarified that she and her best friend had teamed up. Her friend opened the secret realm, and she achieved the first clear. She challenged them, asking if that was a problem. When the bodyguard pressed further, asking about her friend's whereabouts, Jinyan informed them that her friend was gone. She then turned to Chen Jun, irritated that his men were treating her like a criminal. Chen tried to ease the tension. He explained that the man was just a bodyguard he had hired who didn't know any better, and offered to make it up to her with a meal. But Jinyan, unwilling to entertain him further, walked off and told him to stop following her. As she left, Chen turned to his subordinate. He reminded him of the order to keep an eye on Zhang Yue. His brothers had spotted Zhang trying to leave the safe zone, but thanks to their guards, Zhang had retreated. With tonight marking the third night, Chen was confident. At midnight, when the Reaper's strike activated, the cemetery's defense value would drop to 0. According to him, Zhang and the boy named Liu were as good as dead. Meanwhile, Jinyan ran through the city calling out for Zhang. He emerged from hiding and assured her he was nearby. Jinyan admitted she had feared Chen Jun's men might spot him. She questioned if Zhang had known Chen would be outside when he told her to leave earlier. Zhang explained that Chen had likely hired a large number of assassins, possibly the strongest ones available in the Third World. Once the system announced the first clear for the secret realm, Chen would definitely appear to reclaim the reward if possible. That was why Zhang had asked Jinyan to deliver the final blow, to hide his identity. Jinyan realized it was all part of Zhang's plan to stay hidden. He apologized, explaining that revealing himself would cause unnecessary trouble and that he now owed her one. But Jinyan didn't mind. She was just glad she could help. They decided to rest and check the rewards. Among the loot, Zhang found a super magic shield along with a Death Knight set selection box. He considered it a solid gain, a life-saving skill, and valuable gear. Zhang laid out their next move. If they could avoid Chen Jun's men and return to the Holy Light Cemetery to turn in the quest, they could reach level 25, resolving their current dilemma. Jinyan, however, expressed concern. The enemy was already at level 30. Was level 25 really enough? She offered to use her sister's connections if needed. But Zhang placed a reassuring hand on her head, confident they could handle it. Blushing slightly, Jinyan remembered something. She showed Zhang a bounty scroll she had received after the first clear and asked if they should open it. She explained that tasks in the other world were usually divided into 3 categories: regular, hidden, and bounty quests. Hidden quests were rare and valuable, while bounty quests offered uncertain rewards but usually involved money. Given their recent heavy potion usage, earning money for supplies seemed wise. Suddenly, a small explosion echoed nearby. The system activated, announcing that a bounty quest had been refreshed. A level 28 3-star boss, Golden Skeleton King, had appeared in their current map, the City of the Dead. It also congratulated them for triggering a hidden opportunity and offered to upgrade their completed quest, Fight Against the Reaper, into a rare hidden quest titled Hunt the Skeleton King. Jinyan asked what the system meant by upgrading the quest. Zheng clarified that upgrading meant forfeiting the original quest rewards. If they failed the new quest, they would lose everything. He thought about it carefully. Normally he would upgrade without hesitation, but if Chen Jun appeared, all their progress might be wasted. But Jinyan encouraged him. Hidden quests were rare, and they needed to act fast before Chen's team reacted. With a smile, Zhang pressed the system button. The system congratulated him for upgrading the quest. Rewards had now been enhanced. Seeing the new rewards, double experience, a full equipment set, skill books, and pet eggs, Jinyan was thrilled. It was definitely better than the previous task. But Zhang remained realistic. Just the two of them finishing off the boss within an hour would be difficult. At that moment, they heard footsteps behind them. Quickly, Zhang pulled Jinyan behind a large rock to hide. Chen and his men had arrived and were surprised to find the boss standing before them. The level 28 3-star monster shocked them. One of them joked that a single kick from it could send them to their great-grandmother. Chen ordered his team to weaken the boss, saving the final blow for himself. One of his men accepted the command and coordinated the group. Tanks were instructed to draw aggro, healers to manage buffs and healing, while the assassins and the commander focused on damage. With a shout, he charged at the monster and launched a sword attack. The skeleton retaliated, but the man dodged and called out for debuffs, which the healer quickly applied. From their hiding spot, Jinyan whispered to Zhang, asking if he planned to let Chen's group wear down the boss first. Zhang confirmed the plan, referring to an old saying, "The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind." At the same time, Chen unleashed an attack from behind, directly hitting the boss, reducing its health. Watching this, Jinyan observed how, as expected of elite-level assassins, they inflicted immense damage with just a few members. Zhang noted their excellent coordination, with clear roles in frontline, output, and healing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Chen Jun's companion sensed something strange in the air. Chen, shouting in frustration, ordered his group to quickly eliminate the monster. He warned them of the consequences if he couldn't level up and claim the rewards. When his team hesitated, he angrily questioned why they had stopped. One of his men responded, frustrated, saying their opponent was too much to handle. Soon, one of Chen's men located Zhang, hurling a knife, hitting their hideout directly. As the smoke cleared, Zhang and Jinyang came out unscathed, though he hadn't expected to be found. The assassin scoffed, accusing Zhang of playing tricks and not taking their assassin group seriously. Chen Jun was shocked to see Zhang Yue, whom he believed to be trapped in the safe zone, now appearing here and accompanied by Jinyan. He questioned Jinyan's presence with Zhang. Jinyan, unfazed, firmly stated that who she chose to be with was her own business. Furious, Chen Jun commanded his subordinate to kill Zhang, promising to release his daughter immediately. The subordinate asked if he truly meant it, and then instructed his allies to call for reinforcements to secure the situation. Charging toward Zhang, the assassin launched an attack, but Zhang dodged effortlessly. The attacker sneered, declaring that since Zhang had left the safe zone, his life now belonged to them. Zhang, defiant, told him to keep dreaming. While his ass was busy talking, Jinyang take the opportunity to bind him, having not to stand bullies. Zhang then takes the opportunity with a powerful strike using his new equipment. Stunned by Zhang's strength, wondered how his damage could be so high. Realizing they couldn't overpower Zhang, he quickly called his boss for backup. At a distance, the Skeleton King silently observed the increasing power levels. The wounded assassin dashed toward the Skeleton King, aiming to launch an attack. Witnessing this, Zhang turned to Jinyan, urging her to find an opportunity to stall the enemies so they could defeat the boss first. Jinyan agreed without hesitation. The scene shifted to Qing and his group. His men expressed concern, fearing they would die if they didn't escape soon. Regretting their earlier decision, they remarked that selling Zhang Yue to the assassins might have allowed them to survive. Just then, they noticed the assassins retreating and expressed relief that the killers had finally left. Qing, however, grew suspicious about their sudden withdrawal. He wondered if the assassins had spotted Zhang Yue. One of his men confirmed that the assassins had indeed withdrawn and suggested it was the perfect time to farm monsters and increase the cemetery's defense value, advising they forget about Zhang Yue. Another agreed, noting they would die otherwise. But Qing remembered Zhang Yue's promise to free them before nightfall. If Zhang was surrounded by the assassins, everything would fall apart. He couldn't ignore justice. Without delay, he ordered all guild members to head to the City of the Dead. He promised double salaries for everyone who joined the mission. Hearing this, one of his men sighed, acknowledging Qing's righteousness, unsure whether it was a strength or a flaw. Another dismissed the thought, saying money was motivation enough and they couldn't refuse. Back near the battlefield, one of Chen Jun's men instructed his healer to take position. Together they advanced toward the Skeleton King, but the Skeleton King countered with a surprise attack, striking the healer with dark power. Watching the unfolding battle, Chen Jun grew cautious. Now it was 2 against 1, and with the assassin group yet to arrive, he knew he had to be careful. Jinyan and Zhang approached the Skeleton King. Jinyan launched an assault with her equipment while Zhang counted down from behind. Slowly, her attacks began to wear down the Skeleton King. Zhang, confident, declared the end was near. But suddenly, from behind, the wounded assassin snarled and swore he would never let Zhang succeed. Suddenly, a group of players attacked Chen Jun's subordinate from behind. The startled subordinate cursed, realizing his plan was ruined. But the attackers quickly revealed their allegiance. They shouted that brother Zhang Yue was being protected, and their boss was holding the rear. They had been sent to support the mission. Their guild leader had promised a reward, 30,000, for protecting Zhang Yue, even if it meant dying once. With a loud cry, they charged forward. Chen Jun's subordinate barked at his comrades, calling the enemies a bunch of biting ants. He demanded to know where their backup was. Furious, he shouted that these mad dogs had been locked up for days and were now acting recklessly. He ordered them to be killed. The battle escalated. The attackers overwhelmed Chen Jun's group. Watching the fight, Chen Jun's subordinate noticed Zhang's incredible strength. He wondered how someone in their 20s, level-wise, could deal such high damage. Panic set in. If this continued, the boss would be stolen. He lunged at Zhang, but Jinyan leapt in and struck him mid-attack, refusing to let him touch Zhang. Rage filled the subordinate's eyes. Out of respect for Chen Jun, he had held back earlier, but now he was ready to grant her death wish. With brutal force, he stabbed Jinyan in the chest, leaving Zhang speechless. His eyes filled with fear, pain, and fury. Jinyan, with her last breath, told Zhang not to worry and urged him to keep going. Fueled by emotion, Zhang unleashed his full power and launched a fierce assault on the Skeleton King. After an intense battle, he finally struck the killing blow. A system window popped up, announcing that Zhang had defeated the level 28 Skeleton King. Elsewhere, Qing informed his allies that the boss was dead. He was sure it had been Zhang Yue's doing. He declared that Zhang was rising fast and urged everyone to hurry. Zhang, still catching his breath, recalled that he had obtained a defensive skill while clearing the secret realm. That skill had helped him block the boss's final strike. He decided it was time to turn in the quest and level up. First, he collected the loot. A new system prompt appeared, asking Zhang if he wanted to tame the Skeleton King as a pet. He accepted without hesitation. Just then, Chen Jun shouted at his subordinate, ordering him to retrieve the loot or he would kill his daughter on the spot. Terrified, the man ran toward Zhang, calling him a bastard and accusing him of trying to escape. But Zhang remained calm and warned that soon it would be their turn to lose their heads. Hearing this, the man stopped in his tracks. Chen Jun, furious at the hesitation, insulted his subordinate, calling him trash and questioning his loyalty to his daughter. As Chen kept ranting, the man, enraged, shoved him aside and told him to shut up. He then warned that if Chen touched his daughter, he would tear him apart. Frightened, Chen stammered that it was all a misunderstanding. He explained that Zhang had just killed a level 28, 3-star boss and looted everything. If they let him go now, he'd grow even stronger, making it much harder to kill him later. The subordinate, calming down, backed off and scoffed, claiming he could kill Zhang any time with ease. Meanwhile, Qing arrived and was shocked to hear Zhang had escaped. His ally admitted they had bet on the wrong side this time. Chen Jun's subordinate, suspicious, asked if the attackers were from the Supreme Guild. He was ready to have them killed, but Chen Jun interrupted, smirking. He ordered them not to kill just yet. This guy, he said, was the perfect bait to lure out the big fish. Back with Zhang, the system window displayed his rewards. He had reached level 25. Reflecting silently, he was surprised the boss could become a pet. If he trained it properly, normal monsters wouldn't stand a chance. Suddenly, a message arrived from the Yanyu Pavilion General. The message mocked Zhang, asking if he dared visit the city, bragging that Liu was groveling beneath his feet. Another message followed, accusing Zhang of being a coward who only survived by stealing the loot and running away. The general mocked his fear and said the Supreme Guild had risked everything for him. Even Jinyan had died. He challenged Zhang to stay hidden forever if he had no guts. Then a message from Qing came in, warning Zhang that Chen Jun was waiting for him to walk into a trap. Qing offered to go with him, but Zhang simply replied that it wasn't necessary. Staring ahead, Zhang made a vow. It was time to avenge them all. Chen Jun's men began to ruthlessly beat Qing. His bruised and bloodied face had completely changed after the assault. Just then, Zhang arrived. Qing turned to him, pleading for help. From the side, Chen Jun whispered to his ally that Zhang had foolishly walked into their trap. Zhang offered them a choice. If they wanted to kill him, they should fight him directly and let Qing go. Chen Jun quietly signaled to his comrades to get ready. He instructed them to strike all at once Zhang got close, determined to kill him this time. One of his men scoffed at the idea of needing an ambush just to handle a lowly beastmaster. On signal, one of the mercenaries kicked Qing toward Zhang, sending him flying. As Qing stumbled into Zhang's arms, he expressed relief, saying he knew Zhang would come. Zhang told Qing to retreat and leave everything else to him. Qing, however, urged him to escape together, saying they couldn't take on the killer mercenaries. If they made it back to the city, they'd be safe. But Zhang insisted there was no need. Qing should leave and not hold him back. Zhang then challenged the enemies, telling them to come at him now if they wished to kill him. 3 of Chen Jun's subordinates launched a coordinated attack, one of them shouting that whoever took Zhang down first would receive a reward from the boss. In response, Zhang summoned his pet, the Golden Skeleton King. The sight left the attackers shocked and terrified. They couldn't believe a beastmaster like him had managed to summon a Golden Skeleton King. They questioned what kind of monster Zhang really was to command such a powerful summon. Zhang smirked, thanking them sarcastically. A flashback appeared. Zhang had previously analyzed his situation. Although he had reached level 26, his enemies were all elite level 30 players. The silver-armored scorpion among them was slightly weaker. In the system window, it was shown that his pet, the Golden Skeleton King, had devoured another and gained new skills during levitation. Zhang then selected the Death Knight configuration. As he reviewed the system data, he considered the advantages. Summoning a skeleton warrior like this was like having 2 pets. If refined with golden attributes, the effect would become even stronger. He immediately began the refining process. Upon opening a treasure chest, he obtained a full set of powerful items: the Eternal Magic Wand, Demon-Slaying Death Ring, Eternal Magic Hat, Robe, Demon-Slaying Death Pants, Eternal Magic Chain, and Demon-Slaying Death Boots. Zhang thought to himself that everything was ready. Now he only needed to equip the Golden Skeleton King with the new gear. With better defense than even his own boots and strong warrior stats, the Skeleton King was now both a tank and a powerhouse. This time he vowed not to let Chen Jun and his men leave alive. Back in the present, Zhang gave the command. The Dark Skeleton King charged forward. One of Chen Jun's men mocked Zhang, calling him just a beastmaster with nothing to fear. But as multiple enemies attacked, Zhang skillfully dodged their blows and countered with overwhelming force, putting them in a dire state. Witnessing Zhang's raw power, one of the enemies exclaimed in disbelief. Finally realizing how strong Zhang truly was, Chen Jun shouted at his men to move, reminding one of them that his daughter's life was still on the line. The man affirmed he knew what to do. In his mind, he burned with hatred because of Chen. He had lost so many brothers. Once he saved his daughter, he vowed to slice Chen into 1,000 pieces. Then, seizing an opportunity, he struck from behind, believing that once Zhang fell, the pet would become useless. But Zhang turned to him, revealing that he was fully prepared. He told him to look behind. Turning back, the attacker's eyes widened. Another skeleton appeared, another pet. He was stunned, questioning how it was even possible. The skeleton blow connected Chen Jun's main subordinate. At the same time, Zhang channeled more power, making his Golden Skeleton King even stronger. Chen Jun's main subordinate dodged the attack by quickly leaping to the side. Staggered by the attack, Chen Jun's main man muttered in disbelief. The level of damage was impossible for a typical level 20 player. He questioned whether it was due to top-tier equipment or some rare item. Other mercenaries rushed to strike the Skeleton King, but soon realized its resilience. One of them reported to Chen Jun's lead man that their level 30 golden gear couldn't even pierce the pet's defenses. They decided that since it was a Beastmaster's summon, the best strategy was to take out the master instead. He ordered 2 high-agility fighters to restrain the Skeleton King while the others focused their assault on Zhang Yue. He believed that if Zhang made even a single mistake, their level 30 power would overwhelm him. One attacker charged Zhang head-on, but Zhang easily dodged and countered. 2 more came from either side, but Zhang skillfully handled them too. At that moment, Xiao Yao arrived with his team. He introduced himself and said that the guild leader had sent him to protect Zhang. Zhang thanked him and advised not to force any fight if danger arose. Xiao Yao relayed the message to his fighters, telling them to unite all forces, heal when possible, and harass the enemy rather than engage head-on. His team acknowledged the command with determination. Watching them charge without hesitation, Chen Jun's main man cursed them, calling them lunatics who didn't value their lives. War erupted between the two sides. Chen Jun's lead fighter once again confronted Zhang. Zhang acknowledged the man's agility, befitting the leader of the killer mercenaries. But the man responded, stating that unless Zhang had the ability to paralyze enemies like that little girl, it would only be a matter of time before he was killed. Zhang challenged the claim and prepared for battle. But when the man noticed 2 of Zhang's skeleton pets behind him, fear overtook him. Just then, he received a message from his ally. The Su family's second lady had sent people to rescue her daughter Qi, and she was now safe. Shocked by the news, the man ordered everyone to stop attacking. The entire battlefield froze in disbelief. Chen Jun screamed at him, demanding he continue fighting and asking if he no longer wished to see his daughter. The man walked over and grabbed Chen Jun by the neck. He declared that from the day Chen Jun kidnapped his daughter, his fate had been sealed. Then he threw him to the ground. Chen Jun begged for mercy, pleading with him to let him go, and promising to have the daughter released immediately. But the man coldly replied that his daughter was already safe at home. Without hesitation, he plunged his sword into Chen Jun's chest and killed him. Zhang asked how he had managed to kill such a strong person so easily. The man knelt before Zhang and confessed. In their line of work, they lived on the edge. If they couldn't even protect their families, they were no better than cowards. He then apologized on behalf of the killer mercenaries. Zhang questioned what he meant by that. The man replied that Zhang's friend had saved his daughter, a favor so great it needed no thanks. And although many of Zhang's people had been killed over the past few days, he would take responsibility for all of it. He was ready to pay with his life. Xiao Yao gave a friendly reminder. The killer mercenaries had killed 189 members of Han's, totaling 235 times. One of the man's allies asked what that meant and offered to help him settle the debt with his own life. But the man shouted for no one to move, giving a firm order. Zhang, hearing this, said that since the man insisted, he wouldn't hold back. Then he channeled power into him. The man, overwhelmed by the energy surging through him, realized the truth. Zhang wasn't an ordinary person. His damage output was simply too high. The remaining members of Peiki's group looked at each other in shock before shouting in unison. The boss had been killed. With fury in their voices, they urged each other to grab their weapons and avenge him. Their cries rang out, vengeance for the boss. Just then, a message came from Peiki himself. Qi had returned. Zhang Yue's people had helped him get her back. Peiki declared that he had made a promise, and a man must keep his word. From that moment on, anyone opposing Zhang Yue would be immediately expelled from the guild. Noticing Xiao Yao's nervousness, Zhang calmly reassured her. Soon, even the rest of Peiqi's men bowed before Zhang and spoke humbly. They were willing to atone for the lives lost from the Supreme Guild. More voices joined, all asking that the blame not be placed solely on their boss. As citizens of the Dragon Nation, they were reminded that their sharpness should not be turned inward against their own people. Killing fellow countrymen was no sign of skill. True professionalism lay in protecting one's family and defending the nation. A message was sent for their boss. This debt must be repaid, but in a different way. Every economic and material loss the Supreme Guild had suffered over the past 2 days would be repaid double. Furthermore, Peiqi's group would now be responsible for leading everyone in the Supreme Guild through the Third World. Peiqi's men agreed without hesitation. Zhang turned and left. Watching him go, Xiao Yao finally understood why the boss valued him so highly. Excited chatter filled the air. One onlooker admired the skeletal beast following Zhang, wondering if it was his pet. Another recognized it instantly. The Skeleton King boss from the City of Death map. Now that terrifying figure had become Zhang's underling. The onlookers were in awe. Were Beastmasters truly this powerful? A system window appeared before Zhang's eyes, displaying information about the Dark Skeleton King. It was a rare grade pet, with evolution at 0 out of 10. Its physical attack was 640, with a growth rating of 14 stars. Physical and magic defense were at 555 and 533 respectively, both marked with 12 stars. Its HP and MP showed similarly high stats. The pet had divine special effects, increasing its MP by 20%. It also had powerful skills. One allowed it to rebuild its form as a dark skeleton. Another active skill, Mushroom Sword Array, summoned 10 giant swords from the sky to strike enemies. The attack dealt 120% of the skeleton's damage per second for 10 seconds, with a cooldown of 15 seconds. Zhang reviewed the stats and thought to himself. As expected from a boss monster, its growth stats were higher than those of regular professionals. However, it still lacked skills. Remembering the 2 skill books he had received as a quest reward, Zhang decided to teach them to the Skeleton King. Another system window popped up. One skill, Deadly Taunt, taunted up to 3 monsters within 30 yards, forcing them to attack the skeleton and reducing their damage output by 30% for 10 seconds. It couldn't force players to attack, but the damage reduction still applied. The second skill, Ultra Light Slash, executed a powerful, supersonic strike, dealing 279% physical damage. This damage ignored the target's physical defense. With these upgrades, Zhang empowered his Skeleton King even further. Not long after, Jinyan approached. Zhang asked why he was there. Jinyan questioned whether Zhang had killed Chen Jun. Zhang admitted he wanted to but never got the chance. Peiqi had killed him. Jinyan was relieved. If Zhang had been responsible, the consequences would have been severe. Chen Tianyi, father of Chen Jun, was known for his fierce protectiveness. He would stop at nothing to avenge his son. Zhang looked at Jinyan, remembering how he had once risked his life to help him. And now, he had come all this way just to deliver this warning. Zhang acknowledged his loyalty. Jinyan confirmed it. He had lost a resurrection and even dropped a level for Zhang's sake. He demanded to know how Zhang would make it up to him. Zhang offered a solution. Jinyan should go home and rest. Tomorrow night, Zhang would personally take him through the Third World. Jinyan agreed to the deal. Later, Zhang finally returned home. He felt relieved, knowing he could finally rest. But just as he settled down, he received a call from an unknown number. It was Peiqi. Peiqi expressed his gratitude once more. When Zhang asked how he got his number, Peiqi admitted he had asked the second young lady of the Su family. He meant no harm, only wanted to say thank you. Chiki meant everything to him. For her sake, he had lost control and allowed others to manipulate him. But that time was over. He would start anew. After leading the Supreme Guild through the Third World, as Zhang had instructed, they would keep climbing and stop resorting to underhanded tricks. Zhang told him it was good he had made that decision. The next morning, a scene showed Zhang waking up from sleep. A knock at the door interrupted his rest. A delivery had arrived, though Zhang didn't remember ordering anything. Curious, he opened the letter attached to the package. It was an invitation to a professional tournament. Upon seeing the letter, Zhang's mind raced. Someone knew his real identity. He wondered if it could be another reincarnator like him, or something else entirely. Just then, a call interrupted his thoughts, bringing urgent news. Turning on the broadcast, Zhang saw the headline flash across the screen. The Youth Professional Glory Tournament was about to begin. But that wasn't all. A chilling report followed. The headquarters of the professional guild had become a scene of bloodshed. 42 professionals and a 9-year-old girl had been tragically killed. Zhang instantly realized it was Peiqi and his team, and his daughter, Chiki. The entire killer guild had been wiped out. Even the children had not been spared. The brutality was inhuman. They were killed at 6 in the morning. Not long after Zhang had received that mysterious letter, he began to suspect a connection between the massacre and the message. One thing was clear, he couldn't stay where he was anymore. He decided to move. After switching 3 taxis, circling the city center multiple times, and wandering through various neighborhoods, Zhang felt confident that if anyone had been following him, they had lost his trail by now. He arrived at a new rental location. A woman greeted him warmly, saying she had the perfect place nearby. She offered to take him there. The residence was in the Shiyue yachting community, the most popular in the area. Despite being an older building, it had a great cost-performance ratio and convenient surroundings. She showed him the master bedroom, spacious and well-positioned. Zhang agreed to take it. The woman happily began preparing the contract. The price was fair, and she assured him the roommates were easy to get along with. Just then, Zhang received a call from Jinyan. She confirmed their plan for the day was still on. Zhang replied affirmatively, and she said she would wait for him. The woman confirmed she would transfer the rent payment, and Zhang agreed. Meanwhile, Jinyan stood at the meeting spot, waiting for him. A few strangers approached her, offering help to defeat the skeleton warrior. She politely declined, saying she already had teammates. The men insisted, asking to see her teammates. If she didn't call them, they said, they wouldn't leave. Unfazed, Jinyan warned them not to push her. Just then, Zhang arrived and introduced himself as her teammate. The strangers scoffed at him, mocking his class, saying a beastmaster had less damage than a priest, weaker defense than an assassin, and slower speed than a mage. They told Jinyan her teammate was useless and suggested she join their team instead. Before the tension could rise further, Qing arrived and grabbed one of the men by the collar, demanding how dare they try to steal his brother's woman. Zhao Yao quickly stepped in, reminding Qing not to make a scene. It would cause trouble for Zhang. Qing acknowledged the point and ordered the men to get lost. Jinyan, slightly embarrassed, turned to Zhang, chuckling and saying she had just been speaking impulsively. Then, she asked who those people were. Zhang explained he had called for backup. Xiao Yao could offer support, and Sheni was a healer. He told her not to overthink it and just focus on staying safe, away from the battlefield. They were ready to move. As they walked, Jinyan expressed her horror at the earlier news. Chen Tiangi had been ruthless. He hadn't even spared a little girl. Anyone with sense could see it was likely Chen Tiangi, avenging his son. But with no solid evidence, even the police couldn't act. Zhang replied that it wasn't that simple. Surface appearances could be misleading. Jinyan voiced her concern. If it really was Chen Tiangi, then Zhang might be the next target. Chen knew Zhang had connections with his son, Chen Jun. Zhang remained calm. He assured her he could protect himself. Hearing this, Sheni, Qing, and Xiao Yao exchanged glances, questioning if their presence here was even necessary. The 3 of them felt like third wheels. Zhang then asked everyone if they were ready. They all affirmed. A system window popped up. Do they want to form a team to start the Third World Boss Challenge? Zhang selected yes and looked at his team. It was time to finish this quickly. Zhang and his teammates finally stepped into the Third World's Death, God Descends boss territory. Qing glanced around, unimpressed by the surroundings, wondering aloud why the boss area looked so ordinary. But the moment they looked ahead, their expressions changed. Towering before them stood the Third World boss, a massive and intimidating figure known as Kaiser. Qing immediately realized this was no ordinary opponent. Facing the Death God Kaiser wouldn't be easy. In response, Zhang activated his detect technique, scanning the boss's stats. He noted that while Kaiser was stronger than their previous boss, he now had 2 pets and a complete set of undead equipment. This had significantly increased his combat power, giving him the confidence to take on the fight. Suddenly, Kaiser let out a thunderous roar. From beneath the earth, hordes of monsters began to emerge. Without hesitation, Zhang summoned his Dark Skeleton King and Skeleton Warrior, commanding them to engage the enemy forces. His undead duo launched into battle, clashing against the waves of monsters. At the same time, Zhang unleashed his flaming missile skill, obliterating enemies with precise strikes. Watching this, the team's healer was stunned. He remembered how their group of 5 had previously struggled for a full minute just to defeat a single skeleton warrior. Yet Zhang had wiped out an entire group in mere moments, all by himself. Confident in his strength, Zhang told his teammates that he would handle the boss alone. The others were instructed to focus on the minions and keep themselves safe, especially Lilu Yao, who had no more revives left. She needed to stay back and avoid being instantly wiped out. Now, it was a battle between 2 kings, both boss-level entities, and only one would emerge victorious. Li Xiaoyao looked around and asked about the guildmaster. Qing, who had been hiding nearby, reassured him that he was fine and would take care of himself. He encouraged them to continue the fight. Zhang then issued commands to his undead army. The Dark Skeleton King was ordered to use Deadly Taunt to draw Kaiser's attention, while the Skeleton Warrior was tasked with clearing out the surrounding enemies. The skeleton duo charged forward, engaging Kaiser in close combat. The healer watched in disbelief as even a level 33-star boss couldn't inflict damage on the Skeleton King. Its defense was extraordinary. Seizing the opportunity, Zhang combined lightning, fire, and ice attacks into a single devastating strike, landing a critical hit on Kaiser. Meanwhile, Li Xiaoyao reminded the healer to stay focused. With perfect coordination between Zhang and his undead allies, Kaiser was finally defeated. The system announced their victory. Congratulations on defeating the level 30-star boss, Death God Kaiser. All players present were acknowledged by the system for their achievement. After the battle, Qing praised Zhang's performance, amazed at how quickly he had taken down the boss. He believed their team might be among the first to clear the third world boss. Zhang asked about their next plans and suggested that they shouldn't rush into the fourth world. Although he had helped defeat the boss, the team's current strength was still too weak to handle the regular monsters in the third world. He advised them to focus on leveling up first. Jinyan agreed, deciding to remain in the third world for a few more days to grow stronger. Qing also agreed wholeheartedly, expressing complete trust in Zhang's guidance. With the team's path decided, Zhang returned to his room through a portal. He planned to take a short break before setting out to conquer the fourth world the next day. However, just as he settled onto his bed, he suddenly jolted in surprise. A beautiful woman was sleeping in his bed, an unexpected and mysterious presence that left him momentarily speechless.